Cartoon Fridays.
Cartoon
Fridays. Cartoons Fridays.
Is that it?
No, that is not it.
Watch the hair.
Trick or treat, senoritas. I am Johnny Bravo, and welcome to the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. Hey, pretty mama.
Hi yourself, handsome. Coming up on tonight's CCF, we've got Johnny Bravo.
No, you're not you. I'm you.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Followed by Ed and Eddie, the Powerpuff Girls, and then another Ed and Eddie, a brand new episode.
You might think I am on that show, but I am not. I'm Dee Dee.
Okay, Dee Dee. Go ahead and pick the first cartoon.
Can it be a Courage?
Anything you want.
Okay, here is a Courage the Cowardly Dog on Cartoon Fridays.
Oh, brother.
Not bad at all.
Why, you Courage, you sure are the bane of my existence. Consarn it.
Hey, mamacitas. Coming up after the break, it's the cartoon you picked on the internet. The .com pick. Yeah?
That's the one with the interweb thingy, right?
Yep.
And they can log on all week to choose, correct?
What is this, a commercial?
I just want to make sure I understand is all. And you do well, or what's your tone?
My tone? Listen to me, you red dude.
Boy, stop it. It's supposed to be a party. Stick around. There's more of the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party coming up after this.
Now here's the cartoon you picked on CartoonNetwork.com. The .com pick, right here on Cartoon Fridays.
You forgot to say Halloween party, Papacito.
Oh, fine. Halloween party.
Nice.
Cram it.
Welcome back, every little body, to the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. And just what kind of party is this anyways? Where is the candy? If I don't get me some treats soon, there is going to be some serious tricks around here.
We've got candy.
Oh, yeah? What kind?
Jawbreaker.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up next, it be Hunka Burning Love, Johnny Bravo, followed by Ed and Eddie, the Powerpuff Girls, and another brand new Ed and Eddie.
Nice butt.
Like it? Our bought it special.
And that is all right here on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
You're watching Johnny Bravo on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween Party.
Stick around. There's a brand new episode of the show I'm on, Ed and Eddie, coming up tonight at 9. We'll be right back with more of the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party after this.
Now, back to Johnny Bravo on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween Party.
You know what I like best about candy apples?
What's that?
They stick to things.
Get away from me. Do you understand, Buster? I'm not here to be your candy apple dog boy holder.
Relax and do the next intro, little man.
Little man? Oh, okay. Coming up next on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. It's Ed and Eddie, followed by the Powerpuff Girls. And then another Ed and Eddie, a brand new one.
Isn't that a little fuzzy?
Don't forget, there's a brand new episode of Ed and Eddie coming up in a little bit.
Trick or treat.
I'll take a treat.
Oh. Eddie! I said trick
Stick around. We'll be back with more Ed and Eddie on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party right after this.
Now back to Ed and Eddie. on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Welcome back to the CCF Halloween party, and you're just in time to watch us bob for apples.
We're out of apples.
What are we bobbing for?
Onions.
That's disgusting.
Oh, yeah. Only baboon volunteers.
Ew. Coming up next, it's the Powerpuff Girls, followed by a brand new episode of Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Oh.
And again, it's all right here on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Don't forget, there's a brand new Ed, Ed, and Eddie coming up at 9.
Hey, I am on that. I'm Ed.
Aren't you supposed to be, Dee Dee?
Oh. Oh, yeah.
We'll be right back with more of the Powerpuff Girls on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Oh, I forgot for a minute, Eddie.
I'm not. Oh, yeah. Right. Now, back to the Powerpuff Girls on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cartoon Fridays.
Cartoon
Fridays. Cartoons Fridays.
Here it comes. I'm pretty. Oh, yeah.
Is that it?
No, that is not it.
Watch the hair.
Welcome back to the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Hey, wait a minute. Unless I am very much mistaken, ain't Halloween supposed to be scary? So far, this has been a party for babies.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with my handsome little buddy down there. This are lame.
Listen, if you want...
This is more like it.
I've been doing this all week, and I'm sick of
All
it.
right, nobody panic. A fuse probably just went out. Will somebody please say what's on next?
I'll do it! Coming up next, it's a brand new episode of Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I did it!
Fine, let's watch that, and hopefully we'll get this fixed in the meantime.
You are watching the Cartoons Fridays Halloween party.
Chicken, Johnny, you're not helping.
Here we go.
We will be right back to a brand new Ed, Ed, and Eddie on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. Now back to Ed, Ed, and Eddie on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Come play with us, Jinxie.
Happy Halloween from Cartoon Network.
All right, everyone, stay calm. We're working on the problem. Dexter, any luck?
Does this do anything?
That was the monitors.
Sorry.
Fail to invite me to your party, will you?
Who is this?
This is Scooby.
Never mind who I am. You should be more concerned about yourself.
Listen, can't we just discuss this like...
Eustace, what's wrong?
I just put my hand in the egg salad. This is disgusting. Where are that dog and the hippie when you
Well,
need them?
listen, we've still got to tell everyone what's coming up, okay?
Very well, but hurry up.
Jeez, push it. Coming up next is Dexter's Laboratory, followed by Courage the Cowardly Dog and Cow and Chicken.
And it's all right here on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. We know.
Can we get you something to eat?
Try the egg salad.
You're watching Dexter's Laboratory.
On the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
We'll be right back with more Dexter's Laboratory.
Right here on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Now, back to Dexter's laboratory.
On the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
What's going on here?
Some jokers turned the lights out on the party.
Hey, we found a flashlight, everybody.
Where?
Here.
I think he meant, where did you find it?
Ed had it in his goodie bag, along with a can of peas, a box of unflavored gelatin, and 4 cabbages.
You are the worst trick-or-treater ever.
And there go the batteries.
Oh, great voice from above. What do you want from us?
I just want to... No, it's silly.
Come on, tell us.
I'd like to. Are you sure?
Just spit it out.
I want to bob for apples with you guys.
Onions.
Okay. Come on down and bob for apples with us.
Really?
Yes, we would love to have you.
Okay, be right down.
But, like, it's still onions, right? That's nasty.
I know he's perfect. We'll be able to nab him because he reeks so bad. Somebody do the thing.
I'll do it. Coming up next, this is Courage the Cowardly Dog, followed by Coward Chicken. It's all right here on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
He's coming.
Okay, everyone act natural.
It's dark. How will he know?
Just do it.
All right.
We'll be right back with more Courage the Cowardly Dog right here on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. Now back to Courage the Cowardly Dog on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Welcome back to the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party. If you're just joining us, the Joker who turned out the lights is down here bobbing for apples with us.
Yeah, only he doesn't know that we had to use onions instead.
Okay, right over here. Oops, careful now. Oh, that's right.
I really appreciate this, everybody.
Oh, not at all. This will be fun.
Now just dunk your head into the tub and see what you get.
This is fun, only I can't see where I'm bobbing.
Well, if you just tell us how to turn on the light.
Can I do the thing first?
The thing?
What are you talking about?
You know, the thing.
Oh, sure. Go nuts.
Coming up next, it's our last show of the evening, Cow and Chicken, right here on the Cartoon Fridays Halloween party.
Very nice.
Oh, really? Did you like it?
Say, your voice is kind of familiar.
No, it isn't.
Oh, no, you are not.
Now here's Cow and Chicken.
You are watching Cow and Chicken at the CCF Halloween party. We'll be right back with more Cow and Chicken at the CCF Halloween party. Now back to Cow and Chicken at the CCF Halloween party. Look, Aquaman, we have been over this. You know you are not a cartoon. Just give it up.
Oh, come on. Couldn't I just be a wacky neighbor or something? I could be the pool guy. You've got a pool here, right? It'd be great. I could come in, do a couple of numbers, a little soft shoe.
Well, that's going to wrap things up for another Cartoon Friday.
If anyone wants a ride, let's go. I want to beat the traffic.
Please see next week.
I got it.
Again? Are you serious?
Hey, you want to help? We've got a brand new episode of my show, Johnny Rubble.
Yeah, okay.
See you next week, everybody.
Happy Halloween!
Brand new spooky episodes are coming for you every Monday in October.
Smells like the undead.
Nothing can prepare you.
Stop freaking out!
No one can save you.
I want to throw in your face.
And nobody can hear you.
Did you hear that?
Hear what? Because we got a case of the Mondays of terror.
Right.
Halloween premieres of your favorite shows start with a new Johnny Test. Monday night at 7, 6 Central on Cartoon Network.
Happy Halloween.
Get spooked with Cartoon Network's first Halloween DVD.
Now that's what I call Halloween spirit.
Yes, that's right, all you goblins and ghouls. For the first time ever on DVD, Ed, Ed and Eddie, Billy and Mandy, Courage, and more come face to face with things so frightening, so scary. There's only one thing to do. So get ready to scream. Cartoon Network's first ever Halloween DVD in stores this Halloween.
All right. What's up, everybody? Sorry, I'm a little late. Because right as I had said that I was gonna get ready to go live, I was like, oh, let me go and get me some milk so I can start the stream. And then, of course, right when I hear the final promo playing, I'm like, okay, time to get back to the room. I gotta get ready to start the stream. I spilled the milk. And I'm like, dang it. So I had to clean up the milk. But what is up, everybody? Let me see who all is here. Nobody on Twitch so far. YouTube, we've got Liam Spooker Boy, Liam Hughes. Hey, Kalia. Randall. Did I even spell Apocolypse? Probably. It's okay. Who ready for Halloween? I am. November 1st, Mom's gonna get some food stamps. We're gonna. Oh, very cool. Sparking Zero. Hey, Swift Blitz. Savage Gamer. Let's see, who have I missed? Randall, I already said hello. Hey, David. Hey, Killer Cyber Slayer. Hey, Advanced Hell. There he is. No Ben yet, huh? Alright, so I figure it's Halloween. Why not, this was actually Kalia's idea, right? Why not watch a little bit of, actually, not. We'll watch the whole thing of Scooby-Doo Apocolypse. We're going to be watching Comic Storian. What's up, Dave? What's up, Homelander? But we're going to be watching Comic Storian. He has done a 2-hour-long video going over all of Scooby-Doo Apocolypse. So I figure let's go ahead and go in because it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So by the time we're done, it's going to be like right time for requests. So I believe so. I believe I did see it. Here, hold on. Let me plug in my headphones so we can be good to go and starting. All right. Scooby-Doo Apocolypse, ladies and gentlemen. Quality's going to improve in a minute. It's, I think right now it's like 360p. Yeah. We'll do 720, it's fine.
Now, a lot of our videos are broken into
Let me know about volume 2 as well.
Due to the nature of how long it takes for us to do a video, we get videos out faster that way. Once they're complete, we combine a year's worth of videos into a single video known as a full story, giving you a giant epic movie, basically, that you can enjoy. And today, we're going to give you the full story of one of my favorite, I guess not really independent books since it was made by DC, but you get the idea. Scooby-Doo Apocolypse. What if Scooby-Doo was real and the end of the world actually happened?
I've actually never... I've read a little bit of Scooby-Doo Apocalypse, but not a lot.
Also, if you want to talk to me about this book,
also,
consider following me on Twitter.
I got cookies.
Because we're trying to build up our Twitter presence and would really appreciate your help.
Also, rest in peace to Benny. Benny passed away, unfortunately. Can everybody hear it okay, by the way? Hey, Rocky.
Our story begins at the Blazing Man Festival in the Nevada desert with
very nice.
Daphne Blake and her cameraman Fred Jones, following up on a big lead from a mysterious informant. Though she was once a top-rated journalist, she has since fallen from grace and now hosts Daphne Blake's Mysterious Mysteries on the Knitting Channel. However, as the two of them leave, a man and a dog in the crowd watch them, knowing exactly who they are. Except the dog, Scooby, doesn't really care to listen to what the man is saying. The man tells Scooby that it's already been a big risk for him to take him out of the complex. But fine, he'll put on the Emoto goggles. The dog begins to smile as the man puts the goggles on, and after setting up the receivers in his contact lenses, he can see Scooby's emoticon telling him that he clearly wants to get some pizza. But down below in the complex, Dr. Velma Dinkley is told by security that that hipster doofus took one of their subjects outside.
Hipster doofus.
Velma tells them not to worry about it for now. If the two of them make a scene, go get them. Things could be much worse, but for now, she's going to return to her quarters and is not to be disturbed. A short while later, Daphne and Fred sit waiting for their contact to arrive. That's when behind Fred, a rock begins to lift up with a person.
Hey, Velma.
He throws his camera at her, shouting, "Mole people!" But as the camera knocks the woman out, he realizes that that may have been their contact. He tries to wake her up, but Daphne yells at him, asking if he really thinks it's going to work. And that's when the two of them begin to argue as the woman wakes up, stating, "You two really suck at hellos." Daphne and Fred help Velma up, and as they do, they begin to hear a growling. And then they look back up to see Scooby standing on a rock, snarling. Velma tells them
I heard it. I heard Terrifier 3 was really good.
Receivers in her glasses, telling Scooby that they're a threat. She tries to tell Scooby to heal, but then the man from before runs up asking, "What did you think you were doing running off like that? Is that Dr. Dinkley?" The man then asks what she's doing outside of the complex because she never leaves it. And why is she with that hot babe from Mysterious Mysteries? Daphne takes offense to that, but she decides she'll give an autograph anyway. And Velma tells everyone to be quiet. They have to go into the complex in a hurry so she can explain what's going on. She explains that this facility is privately funded by a group of 4 concerned scientists regarding the ultimate survival of the human race. And right now,
whoa,
we need to hurry and get to a safe zone.
That's pretty intense.
There is no such place in the complex, but Velma tells him that he's nothing more than a dog trainer. There's a lot of things that he doesn't know. So the man says, "Call me Shaggy." All my buddies do.
Call me Shaggy.
Her records, his name is Norval Rogers, and she is certainly not his buddy. She hands Daphne a clipboard with all 4 of the original scientists' research stating that none of their work has ever even been entered into a computer. After reading it, Daphne
Tadion.
this can't be authentic, and Velma confirms that it is. Nanite technology that can be dispersed across the world. This in particular will root into human hosts and transform them. The intention is to essentially infect humanity with a techno-virus. Shaggy steps in there stating, "Hang on, I've been working here for 3 years and I've never heard about any of this. This complex develops enhanced technology for Uncle Sam, like the headgear that Scooby is wearing.
I know,
It's a
David.
smart dog prototype."
There'll be more.
Stating, "What did I just say? You're just a dog.
Eventually.
You don't know anything." As they continue to go deeper into the complex, Velma welcomes everyone to the safe zone. The room was created so that the nanites could complete their work, but
It's cool, I think, Swiftwoods.
to hide it. However, things have changed. The original intent of the project was to weed out man's baser instincts, greed, anger, but now Daphne stops Velma, stating, "You would know, wouldn't you? Because according to these notes, you were a part of the team that infected the world. You've released a virus that is self-replicating and is spreading across the globe." Velma tries to defend herself, though. The project was meant to save the world, but once we learned that the 4 had changed it, making it so that it infected people so they would become docile so they could be controlled, I decided I had to expose them, which is why I contacted you. Thankfully, though, the program can only be activated once all 4 of the scientists are here to enter in their passwords. And that's when the safe room doors shut and a siren goes off. Velma shouts out that this can't be happening. The nanites, they've been activated, but the 4 scientists aren't here. She then runs outside.
4 scientists aren't here.
A glitch, and she's going to run a global scan to see if they've been activated. If the nanites haven't been yet, there may be a way to shut them, but that's when the lights go out. She says it looks like the power to the complex has gone out, and right now, they don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. After a bit, the emergency generators kick on and the power is restored, and the group decides that they should go out and take a look to make sure that everything is fine. But as they walk through the complex, Velma sees
we're there? Yeah, that's gonna be a little cringe.
She's gonna go talk to him and see what's going on, but as she gets closer, he turns around.
How was that, Tadion?
Mutated creature trying to bite her. Velma screams, "Jinkies!" and she begins to run away. But before Dr. Kramer can give chase, Scooby jumps on him, knocking him down. Everyone begins to run away, but as they leave, a second creature appears, and instead of following, the 2 creatures begin to fight each other. Velma tells everyone that she needs to understand what's going on. Clearly, something has changed them, so right now, they're gonna have to head into the security office. As Velma loads up the security cameras, everybody sees what's going on. The complex is now
Sounds good, David.
those things. And it's time for them to get out of there. Thankfully, the complex is stocked up with weapons that they can use to help them get out of the main doors. The gang loads up on guns and they begin to creep out of the room. And Shaggy tells everyone, "Just for the record, I have never fired a gun before." As they turn a corner, a hand reaches out calling for help. And that's when Shaggy asks if it's Becky? The transformed woman leaps out, pushing Fred away, and then jumps on top of Shaggy, telling him, "Yes, yes it is, and I've never felt better." Velma quickly swings the butt of the rifle, hitting Becky, but Becky also swings back, knocking Velma into a wall. Scooby jumps back into attack again, but Becky catches him and gets ready to bite, and that's when Daphne grabs the gun and opens fire on Becky.
Oh my God!
It explodes, and Shaggy says that was Becky Davis from Animal Control. "You just killed her." Fred says she did what she had to, but Daphne grabs Fred, stating, "I just killed a human being." She turns and punches Velma, stating, "This is all your fault.
Holy shit!
Lunatics." But before Daphne can continue yelling,
this is
Shaggy
crazy.
tells everyone that he found a way through the vent shaft. Fred asks if it's safe, and that's when another creature appears. So he tells everyone, "You know, we should probably just go."
I agree, Advanced Tell.
Everyone begins crawling through the vent, stating that there should be at least one.
I'll have to check it out, Tadion.
Dr. Krebs' ongoing experiment. As the group calls out, they stand in front of a giant armored vehicle. Shaggy tells them, "This is it." Not sure why he calls it a mystery machine, though. Daphne asks if this is really going to get them out of this building, but that's when they hear talking coming from above, telling them no more. They look up to see more monsters sitting there telling them there is only dying now.
Uh-oh.
Monsters start jumping down and everyone blasting their way through, trying to get to the truck. But as Daphne is
Agree, Swiftlets.
telling herself, these are not people, these are not people. And then she runs out of ammo. As she begins to cry, Shaggy grabs her and she tells him to just let her go. Dying here will be the best. And then he tosses her in the cab of the truck. Everyone piles in and Shaggy jumps into the driver's seat and then he tries to start the truck up. But the monsters continue clawing their way in. Scooby bites one, but a second one starts reaching in and Fred grabs a gun, except the gun is out of ammo. A monster then jumps on him and starts to scrape his nails across Fred's face. And Velma jumps up, slamming a first aid kit into its head. Daphne kicks the monster out as Shaggy finally manages to get the truck started and begins plowing through the swarm. And as he drives, Velma tells him to slow down. There's a heavily fortified gate ahead. But Shaggy tells her, nope, and he steps on
I love the artwork in this. It looks great.
The machine bursts from the garage and it stops just before tipping over the guardrail. Once the truck is at a complete stop,
Am I gonna react to it?
and the group looks out to see the people
I could.
festival. They have now all turned into
It would have to be on stream, though. I probably wouldn't make a video out of it.
The group decides that this might be a good time to leave. In a short while,
I believe so, Savage Gamer.
gas station to find it completely empty. So what better time to pick up a few snacks? Except the store isn't.
Nice, Code Geass.
The vampire opens
I got Scooby-Doo Apocalypse on. We're watching it.
Get some food in their stomachs. They decide to take turns making sure that no other monsters are coming their way. Velma begins to wake up to let Daphne get some sleep, and as she calls out to her, Daphne comes out of the truck stating it seems Shaggy's friend was also making weapons. Also, Scooby's been keeping watch while she's been digging through the van. Velma looks over, stating that that's kind of peculiar. Scooby was actually the most docile of the smart dog prototypes, but since this, he's started to become rather brave. From what Daphne found, Velma decides that maybe she should make an inventory of Dr. Kremp's weapons. But as Daphne sits back down, the vampire crawls on the rooftops looking down. He then calls out for more monsters to come, and his arms begin to crawl their way out from the underground. As the vampire begins to make his way down, Scooby's already there growling. Daphne hears the growls and rushes over to
This is crazy.
When she turns the corner, Scooby is already taking care
Nice
of
on VHS. Very cool, Savage Gamer.
move away. She's got this, and she pulls the trigger on her gun. A giant energy blast shoots out of the rifle, blowing the vampire's upper half away. And then as the two of them look at the dead vampire, they begin to hear thumping coming from the van.
Dude, Daphne is just killing people left and right.
And a monster steps out stating, "You will never stop us! We are the new masters of the..." And then a small drone flies past his head. The monster looks at it, and then it fires a laser cutting through his head, and he falls out of the van. Scooby says once again, "Ruh-oh!" And Daphne asks, "What?" And he says, "Ruh-oh that!" Everyone looks over to see the vampire is beginning to regrow his body parts, and everyone decides that it might be a good time to leave. They all hop back into the mystery machine, and they drive off to the next location.
That'd be cool. I doubt it, Dave. I doubt it, but I wish. That'd be awesome.
Everything else they could possibly need. Velma tells everyone that that's good. Then they should have a laptop that she could use to connect to one of the complex's other facilities. But as Daphne walks with Velma, they find a dead body on the ground, and once Velma inspects it, she pulls something off of it.
What's your video on Teen Titans Go? Is it a rant?
They may not have been the only ones.
I need to do a rant on it.
Outside, Shaggy and Fred begin loading up the mystery machine with the supplies, and they decide that they shouldn't worry. Things are about to get a lot better. But behind them, a monster swarm begins to gather. While Velma begins working on her laptop, her and Daphne
Dude, this is crazy.
coming out of the front of the store. Daphne runs over and finds Fred firing one of Dr. Krebs' energy cannons into the group of monsters, while Shaggy jumps away screaming, "Zoinks!"
Zoinks!
To give the two cover, and everyone runs to the back of the store. And as they run through the halls, Velma tells everyone to get in here, and Shaggy says, "Oh right, I almost forgot about her." To which she tells him, "Oh, that's very heartwarming." Everyone runs into the stock room and slams the door shut while the monsters begin beating on the door. And Fred quickly runs over, grabbing 70 pounds of Happy Oats to keep the door blocked. But Shaggy mentions, "You know, this might not be the only door back here." Fred realizes that he's right. Normally, there is a loading dock with access to the outside. So him and Scooby will need to go check it out while everyone else keeps watch. Shortly after Fred leaves, though, Velma tells everyone to be quiet and listen. Monsters have stopped trying to get in. It might be possible that unlike the vampires that they fought, that these ones may not have any intelligence, and they're just reacting to instincts. They might move on and try to find food elsewhere. Elsewhere in the stockroom, Fred and Scooby begin checking through the loading docks, and Scooby begins sniffing, stating, "Rotmarone."
That's true, Swiftlets. That's true.
Asking if he's one of the things that came from under her bed, because she tells him that the monsters under her bed, they're real. And the Daphne appears asking if everything's okay. Fred tells her, "Yeah, just this little girl. We have to protect her before," and then the little girl's head splits open and 3 giant plant-like mouths fly out, grabbing Fred. The monsters outside the doors hear the gunshots, begin storming back into the doors, and Velma and Shaggy begin climbing the shelves.
That's crazy.
Daphne begins to pick up Fred after Scooby finished biting the last piece of the monster girl up, and they all
Nice.
begin to climb the shelves. The monsters continue to break in, and everyone remains silent as they sit on top of the shelves. Through their searching, they found nothing, and the monsters begin to attack each other. Hours start to pass, and once the last of the monsters leave, the gang decides to climb back down. Velma runs over to the door to look out the window, and Scooby pokes her with his nose, asking if everything's okay. She stomps her foot, stating, "No! You just scared me half to death, actually 3/4 to death." Once the last of the doors have been secured, Velma tells everyone that they need to hurry and try to log on to the complex's servers. If she can reach them, they might be able to get assistance.
Monster Twin Hellboys.
They're the ones who caused all of this, and that's if any of them are alive to even help us. Velma says that they won't know unless they make an attempt, but she may have dropped the laptop while they were escaping. Daphne storms up telling herself, Velma is the cause for all of this. I have a right to be mad, but maybe I'm being a little harsh. She was trying to expose her bosses, which is a good thing, but maybe she just needs an outlet for her fear and anger and is taking it out on Velma. Or maybe her suspicions of her not telling her everything is true. Elsewhere, Shaggy and Velma search for another laptop, and Shaggy mentions that he thinks that he may have an idea of how the project was supposed to work. The goal was to pacify the population and breed out the instincts for violence, right? Maybe their way to get everyone to mellow out was to keep them separated. If the nanites bred out social instincts, it would shy people away from being in groups, because there's power in groups when people start to get ideas.
Okay.
And that's when suddenly a laptop box flies through the air, hitting Velma, and she shouts, "I found a laptop!" As she walks over, Shaggy says in a weird way that was actually nice of her. Maybe she's starting to warm up.
Scooby's sacrifice? I know, right, Dave? This would be awesome. I know, I heard about that, Killer Cyber Slayer.
The Nevada Mall Mart, where Shaggy is facing his biggest crisis yet. He has to pee. Fred tells him that
Mall Mart is crazy.
Shaggy says that they've been holed up here the whole time, and all he's been doing is drinking those gallon jugs of ginger beer. A few moments later, Fred asks, "Is that better?" And Shaggy shouts, "You have no idea!" Velma then tells everyone they have to find a way out of here. Their best bet would be to try and gain access to the roof, or they can get a much broader view of their situation. And Daphne says, as much as she hates to admit it, that's not a terrible idea. Velma then leads the group up to the roof access, and when they open up the door, they spot two of these monsters sitting there. Velma whispers that they need to go back before they, but Daphne says, "No way, they're not going anywhere." And she takes Velma's laptop and throws it over the edge. The laptop lands and shatters on the ground, causing the two monsters to quickly jump after them, giving the gang...
Yeah, a little bit of a play on Walmart, right?
As they look around, they see the monster...
He does, doesn't he, Code Geass? Yeah, he does.
Back to the mystery machine, their van. Everyone heads down the stairs, and Velma says they need to figure out a way to
You'll see it, Dave. It'll pop up here in a minute.
Something that could be considered flammable. And after stockpiling propane, fireworks, and an assortment of other things, Velma says that if anyone has a deity to pray to, this is going to be the time to do so. Velma then sprays lighter fluid on the ground, bringing it back to their hiding spots, and then lights it up. A few moments pass, and Daphne...
Yeah, get him, Daphne.
And just as she says that, the flammables explode, blowing a hole through the roof, startling all of the nearby monsters. Daphne shouts to Velma that she almost killed them, and Velma says, well, almost doesn't count. Now be quiet, or she'll bring the monsters' attention to them. Daphne tells her that she doesn't get to tell her what to do. And a monster runs by, with Daphne ducking behind the wall, stating, "Right, getting down, shutting up now." Once the initial waves run past, everyone looks up to see that there are still a few monsters outside. And while the group tries to figure out what to do next, Velma suggests that she should...
Little bit, right, Savage Gamer? Yeah.
Scooby runs up telling him, "Ruh-oh!"
Ruh-oh!
He runs outside by the mystery machine. The monsters begin to chase after Scooby, and Daphne tells them that they need to go help him or they're going to kill him. Velma stops them, telling them that they can't. If they go, they're going to die. Their only hope is getting into the van. As everyone makes a break for it, Daphne looks back, noticing Fred isn't with them. Back inside, Fred is carrying a box of supplies, and he says they need this stuff if they're going to survive on the road. Daphne tries to tell him that they can always find more, and then a monster jumps up from one of the aisles.
Hey, Sakam Bomber.
As he does, the monster pushes down, snapping Fred's leg, and Daphne quickly spins around and shoots
Hey, DJ.
Daphne shouts that she's going to need some help, and
hey, Matt.
runs over to help support Fred, while the two of them help him into the van. Shaggy tells everyone that they better fasten their seatbelts, because this is gonna be a bumpy ride.
Bumpy ride.
Speeds out of the parking lot. Velma notices that Dr. Krebs, the owner of the van,
Yeah. This is just someone else's. This is Comic Storian. This is just his other YouTube. This is just his YouTube channel. Comic Storian. It's just another YouTuber. I can watch it.
Velma steps out of the back of the van.
Hey, okay.
Asks, "How is it?" Velma says that she did the best that she could, but there's a serious...
Sounds good, Matt.
There's some of the bone piercing out of the skin, as she's extremely worried about infection. They're going to need proper tools and drugs to treat this. Shaggy points across the street at a hospital, and he says, "How about that? We just gotta hope the beasties aren't crawling around inside of there." Velma tells him that they're gonna have to try. They have to help.
Yeah, they try to make this Scooby comic look like super, like real worldy. Yeah.
Fred and leave Scooby behind? Guess human lives are more important than dogs. Velma says that they would have attempted to try and help Scooby, but they all would have died. Besides, the glasses that Scooby...
I'm loving Shaggy's, like, beard. It's very nice.
bit later, as everyone begins to head
Very
to the
nice
hospital,
beard.
Scooby does, in
I
fact,
do love Scooby's design. He looks
The
awesome.
group props Fred up onto a nearby bed and
No, you're so good, Code Geass. Thank you for looking out. I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate that. But we're good.
You do well with these sort of things.
Should be
I
fun.
threw up watching Grey's Anatomy. Daphne shouts, telling him that they have been blasting monsters to bloody bits, and this is what he doesn't have the stomach for? And Velma says, actually, Shaggy and Scooby could go look for medical supplies in other rooms. Just grab whatever you can and I'll sort it out.
I like
Shaggy
Velma's,
reaches out,
like,
telling him, "No problem."
goggles.
And seconds later, him and Scooby hear the snap of Fred's leg being put back in place, and they run out of the room. As they turn the corner, there's another scream, and the two jump, and Daphne runs out asking, "Why did you scream?" Shaggy says, "Actually, it wasn't us. That wasn't Fred." Daphne then says, "That was a human scream, someone in terrible pain." And Shaggy tells her, "Or it could be a monster mimicking the sound of a human in terrible pain. Besides, we're the only ones who made it out of the plague alive. Everyone else has been transformed into whatever those things are."
Whatever those things are.
Velma, maybe not. Back at the mall mart, they found a dead human body, and after a bit of digging around, Velma found that he had a pacemaker. There could be a connection between the pacemaker and the fact of the person who hasn't been mutated by the nanites. Suddenly, there's another scream, and everyone runs outside to regroup. Daphne says that there is someone inside of there. They have to help him. They just can't turn their backs now. And Fred reaches out, stating that they don't know what kind of horrors could be inside. He's not letting her go. Daphne pulls away, telling him, "You can hardly stand. Just stay in the van." And Shaggy says, "You should have known by now she isn't going to change her mind." As the three head back inside, Scooby leads the way into the room, and they turn on the lights, and they find a mutilated human body. Shaggy begins to...
Hey, Jody.
Daphne tells him, "Be quiet. We're going to have to hurry and find the other survivors." Then there's a second scream, and Daphne begins to run up the stairs towards where that sound came from. As they burst into the next room, they find more mutilated bodies scattering the ground. Daphne says, "All right, maybe we should go turn back." And then there's a groan coming out of one of the rooms. She starts charging forward, and Shaggy shouts that she's going the wrong way.
Oh, they
Daphne
changed
then breaks
artist.
herself by the door and asks Shaggy,
It's a different artist now.
He tells her, "Nope, let's do it anyway." And Daphne slams open the door.
Starkly different artist. My goodness.
Lab coat telling them that he's terribly sorry, but no one is to be admitted without an appointment. Shaggy and Daphne stare at the man on the bed with several needles sticking out of his chest, struggling, telling them, "Kill me, please." The monster looks back at the man, telling him, "Why would we do that? I'm a physician who swore an oath to never injure or do harm." Daphne points the gun at the monster, and he tells her to please lower that and wait outside. "I'll be with you in a moment." Shaggy says, "Maybe we should leave." And Daphne shouts, "No way am I letting this doctor torture this helpless human." The monster pulls out a scalpel from his arm, and he tells her, "You must understand, sometimes pain is required to heal." The rifle goes off, shooting the monster's arm off, and he shouts, "What have you done? Code Silver, Code Silver!" Daphne
Shot
asks,
his
"What's that?"
arm
Shaggy
off.
says, "That means that there's someone in the hospital with a weapon. I saw it on Grey's Anatomy once." But before they
Pretty
can run,
Scooby-Doo-ish,
the entire
yeah.
room begins to twist around, and the bed begins to suck the man inside of it. Back outside, Fred says that he can't wait any longer. We have to do
Cocoon!
something. Just then, a window from the second floor is blown out, and out comes Shaggy, Daphne, and Scooby. While Scooby and Daphne get down, Shaggy says, after she just shot out the window, everything looks normal again." Velma says that she just wants to make sure.
I'm not sure of the Code Silver. I'm not sure.
And Shaggy tells everyone, "Look, it was majorly weird in there, even for us." The next morning in Gartersville, Nevada, the gang wakes up in a house. Daphne asks, "Where is Velma?" Shaggy tells her that actually she's been up for a while. She snagged a computer from the hospital and was trying to hack the complex's servers. Upstairs, Velma sits on a bed typing away at the computer when she finally manages to get
Tick,
into the
tick,
servers.
tick, tick,
The moment she does, she runs to the back room to throw up. And as she sits back, she mutters to herself, "Those arrogant, irresponsible, deceitful, self-righteous bastards." The truth is, I have no one to blame but myself, though. If it wasn't for me, none of this would have been happening. While Velma keeps to herself what she found on the servers, the gang continues to travel to California. Once night comes, they all shack up in a motel.
Excuse me.
To work at the computer. She decides that it's time to get some fresh air. As she opens the door, she sees Scooby sitting out front, and after coughing, she asks, "What are you doing here?" He tells her, "I'm worried about you." So she coughs again, telling him, "It's very sweet. I think I've just developed a minor cough is all." She then tells him that she needs to get someone from the van so he can go ahead and get to bed now. Scooby says, "No!" And he heads off. And once Scooby's out of view, Velma runs. With one last look at the motel, she leaves.
She did. She had a pretty good reason, I think.
Left the laptop on with her access to her findings. And at the bottom of the screen is a note that simply says, "I'm sorry." What she discovered changes everything in the Scooby-Doo apocalypse. This is an interesting world. One that has been changed for the worse. Monsters and demons are everywhere. And only the Scooby Gang can save the day.
And only the Scooby Gang can save the day.
The following morning, Velma wakes up in a cold sweat after having a nightmare. She leans up, rubbing her head, stating that it was astonishing what a fever of 103 can do to your brain. The nightmare felt so real. All those monsters felt real. Velma stocks up on medicine as if she's getting ready to leave, and she thinks that Daphne is probably thinking how she's going to kill her, but she can't let that happen. Not if she's going to undo what has been done, if it can be undone. Velma yells at herself, saying no, she can't question her resolve now. Her hubris destroyed the world, now it's time to save it. Later that night, while the monsters chase after Velma, she sighs, asking why she didn't bring her
Rum
back.
rum, voom vroom.
She knows why. Because
Oh
she's
my
in
god,
a
look at
cliff.
that thing.
One of the monsters manages to rip the top of the bus off that she's driving and ends up driving into the side of the cliff. Another speeds up, rolling onto it and crushing it, barely giving Velma time to escape. Before she can even finish her sentence, the monster's head explodes and Shaggy slides down the cliff, shouting, "Don't just stand there, run!" As Velma starts climbing up,
So the thing that's on his eye, it's supposed to help him, like, talk,
Daphne walks back up, stating that those
as well as, like,
literally monster trucks. Can you believe that? Velma says
they can also, like, help him see.
on the laptop, and they know that all of this is because of her. She was the one who
I think it's a
started
Velma
the
invention.
Daphne tells her, yeah, but the question is, what is she going to do with it? Velma then asks why come after her, to punish her, to make her pay for what she's done? Daphne stares for a moment and then hugs Velma, telling her to never do that again. And after a good shake, Daphne says that it's okay to hug her back, you know. Velma tells her that physical intimacy has never been her forte, but she'll give it a shot. Later, as everyone heads back to the van, Velma says again that she is still confused after everything that she's done. And Daphne tells her that while they know that they were misguided, her intentions were noble. It doesn't mean that she doesn't bear some responsibility, but the past is the past, and now it's time for them to go save the world. Meanwhile, over in Seattle, one of the four...
Ooh, the bonus feature.
Watching the monsters rampage throughout the city. As he watches, he thinks to himself, what a mess. And I have my idiot family to blame for this. I loved my brothers, and while my mother was off nursing her alleged nervous breakdowns and her father was terminally self-involved, we've created an unbreakable bond. We were the four, born to privilege and power, and my father said that we would be kings of this world. Each of us flew up the ladder of success to each of our respective professions. Hugo was an army general. Jeeves rose to be one of the most beloved and influential senators. Quentin joined the intelligence services in a role so critical and sensitive that he has no public title. And as for me, Rufus T. Dinkley, I'm simply the greatest businessman to ever live. The
Rufus T. Dinkley.
faith in themselves and their destiny. The complex sounded like a
Look at this
splendid
guy.
time. As his brothers turned to nurture the dreams of a better world, how could their dreams enrich him, expand his empire, give him more control over the brainless rabble out there? As Rufus continues thinking to himself, his wife Daisy says that it seems that Dr. Kapoor is acting up again. Rufus says, why are all the geniuses so high-strung? Hell, you should have seen Velma. But my annoying sister is either dead or worse, and Kapoor is our only hope at beating this. Rufus then walks into the next room where Kapoor is tied to a chair, and he asks, what is the problem?
So Velma's his
The problem
sister?
is that he's been held prisoner for weeks. We have. And Rufus stops him, telling him, whine, whine, whine. You're one of the complex's greatest minds, and I want solutions. Kapoor yells, I just need food and rest. I can't think straight like this. And Daisy comes in telling him that she just wanted to let him know that she had taken her pills and is going to go rest for a little while now. As Daisy leaves, Rufus says that he was planning on divorcing her before all of this happened. But she intrigues him, so no. Like, why didn't she transform like the rest of them? Why didn't they? Kapoor shouts that he doesn't know, and Rufus just slams his head into the keyboard, yelling that it's his job to know. Rufus straightens his tie, stating, oh well, another one dead. I just need to find
Dang.
scientists. Elsewhere in
He
Seattle,
killed
Daisy
him
finds
by
Daphne
slamming his face
Velma
down onto a
she thinks that
keyboard.
they didn't. Also, the original design of the nanites.
That's crazy.
And Velma says that is not a pertinent question. Her vision was to use the nanites to weed out the baser instincts of humanity. But they do know that her brothers attempted to use her technology to create a world of easily controlled sheep who would mindlessly do their bidding. But the problem is they don't know why they did that. When the nanites were dispersed, they instead infected the populace like a toxic plague, mutating everyone with rare exceptions. The files that she uncovered indicate that while her brothers were overriding the nanites' programming, they inadvertently amplified the nanites' already formidable capacity for independent thought. Why did the nanites actually change their own mission? And now, we're hoping that my brother Rufus can help us find the answer? Velma then says that even though her brothers are devoted to each other, Rufus only cares about himself. He would betray them in a heartbeat if he viewed them as a threat to his self-interest. Back with Rufus, he sits in his balcony looking at a monster firing.
I love the designs of the monsters.
And Daisy tells him, why would you do that? You just made it angry. Rufus shouts, what are you talking about? I killed the beast. And what Rufus Dinkley says is true. Daisy backs up, stating, of course. Perfect shot. Rufus heads back inside, stating that it's time for them to check on Dr. Kapoor and check on the progress with. But Daisy stops him, telling
Why
her,
does Rufus look terrible? He looks so ugly.
Rufus hits Daisy to the ground, telling her that she is upsetting him, and she knows how much he hates it when she upsets him. Has she been cutting down on her pills? She wipes the blood from her nose, saying that she doesn't want to take them anymore. Things get too confusing, and Rufus shouts, take the damn pills.
Jesus.
Back out of the streets, Velma points at one of the buildings, stating that there it is, Dinkley Tower. And as the group moves closer in, Scooby begins
It is pretty crazy, isn't it, Savage Gamer?
Around the entrance are cut up monster parts, and Daphne says that it looks like a shrine of some sort. As she gets closer, she checks on the bodies and says they're still warm, which means whatever happened not that long ago. As everyone sneaks in, Shaggy asks why haven't any of the alarms gone off? And Velma says because they don't hear anything doesn't mean that there haven't been any alarms going off. Knowing Rufus, he's probably watching them right now. He's an arrogant bully and a braggart. Daphne then says that if he's listening, he would have heard her say that. Velma tells her, Rufus knows exactly how I feel about him, which is the exact same way that he feels about me. Over in Rufus' office, he sits on a computer watching his brother Hugo shoot himself and says a military hero took the coward's way out. His own brother, a pathetic suicide. Suddenly, Rufus hears something, and he runs to the balcony to see a horde of monsters swarming in front. He shouts that it looks like he sparked a movement. These are my beasts. They won't attack me. They love me. But outside of the office, Shaggy, Daphne, Velma, and Scooby find a door with just a bunch of random things pushed in front of it. Daphne says that it doesn't seem like much of a barricade, and Velma begins to climb on top of it. Shaggy asks what she's doing, and Velma knocks on the door and says, the obvious choice. She looks back at the door and says, you don't think that if they get in, Rufus told the monsters don't knock? Looks like the non-mutants can get past his security system.
Dang.
Says, hello? And Velma says, that's Daisy, Rufus's 7th or 8th wife. I don't know anymore.
That they met.
And Daisy asks if it's really her. Then Rufus says, I know that irritating voice anywhere. Open the door and get clear. Daisy tells him to wait, and Rufus cocks his gun, sighing.
Hey, Jose.
Do you not understand simple instructions?
You've missed about half an hour of Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. We're about 30 minutes in, ish.
It's only been a
yeah,
night since
28
everyone made
minutes.
their way to his penthouse, and as Shaggy looks out into the streets, he sees the monsters have only grown in size. While keeping watch, Rufus's wife Daisy comes in and tells him that he is awake now and would like to speak with him. Shaggy walks back in from the balcony, stating that he can't say that he's looking forward to this. And as Shaggy heads into the next room, Rufus shouts, asking, are you the one that hit me? And Shaggy tells him, no, it was our fearless leader.
Hey, Plush.
Rufus yells, there is no way a woman is capable of overpowering Rufus T. Dinkley. And Shaggy tells him, sorry to demolish your personal mythology, but she did. Rufus says, fine then, let's get down to business. Why are you here, and why haven't you been mutated by the nanite plague? Shaggy tells him, slow down a second. If you want answers, you better talk to your sister. Shaggy then yells, calling for Velma, and Daphne yells back, stating that they'll be right there. While Daphne finishes cleaning the
Oh, sounds good, Jose.
She says that she's really dreading this. And Daphne says, well, you need to get over yourself. We came a long way looking for your brother to find out what he knows about the catastrophe that the complex unleashed. Velma yells Rufus shot at her. If she wasn't knocked out of the way, she'd be dead. Daphne begins putting on the bandage.
Daphne.
Yeah, I guess I've gotten used to you in an odd and uncomfortable way. Velma sighs as she puts on her glasses, and as she walks out, Rufus says,
oops.
well, if it isn't my beloved sister. The genius, which I use very loosely, is responsible for all of this. Velma tells him that she'll take responsibility for her own part. But while Velma speaks with Rufus, Fred sits in the mystery machine wondering when everyone's coming back. He's still injured. Just then his phone begins to ring and he grabs it asking, who's there? Shaggy asks, who the hell else would be calling you? And why are you whispering into your phone? Fred tells him there's a large group moving around me and towards the tower. This thing's taken a major turn for the weird. The monsters have built some kind of effigy in the shape of Velma's brother. Shaggy looks out and sees a woven figure and says that it means that they gotta get out of here fast. He hangs up telling Velma that she better wrap
nice,
this up.
Plush.
No! Rufus tells
We've been watching Scooby Apocalypse for Halloween. Nope, you're good, Liam.
They didn't come for dinner. They came here to find a way to fix the mess that they've created. They overrode her program so that they could control the populace. Their tampering somehow amplified the nanites' capacity for independent thought. Rufus says that her goal was an idealistic one, wanting to uplift humanity, bring forth the golden age. But man is savage, ignorant, and the animals need to be controlled. That is why we've altered the nanites' programming. However, as for this monster plague, I am in the dark about it as much as you. If anyone can help solve this mystery, it'd be you. So right after dinner, we're gonna head down to the lab and pick up where my scientists left off. Daphne asks, how close were they to the cure? And Rufus laughs, telling
apparently,
her,
Swiftblitz. Apparently.
I was interested in becoming the master of those creatures. Velma smacks the glass from Rufus's hand, telling him that he's crazy. And he goes on stating, and you are woefully naive. You see a disaster, I see an opportunity. And sadly, our poor brother Hugo broke under that strain. Velma asks, is he? And Rufus tells her, oh yes, dead by his own hand. Imagine that. But together, the two of us can rise up. Allow me to do what our father should have done and bring you to greatness. Velma asks, do you really mean that? Me at your side? And Rufus tells her, of course. And Velma walks
I
out
don't
of the
trust
kitchen.
this.
She looks at the doctor that Rufus killed and the laptop with her brother Hugo on it and then closes the laptop. As she walks back out and whacks Rufus in the groin with the laptop, she jumps on top of him, beating, shouting, "You are a sick and twisted son of a..." Daphne tackles Velma, but while the fighting continues, Shaggy yells, "Yoinks! We gotta leave! In the next few moments, we're gonna be up to our noses in monsters!" Velma says, "Wait, if they're coming up, how are we getting down?" And Daisy tells them that it's okay.
That's a good question.
Rufus has a security system in place that they could never get past. Rufus leans up, telling them that that would be true if I hadn't turned off the system this morning. Velma asks, "Why would you do that?" And Rufus yells, "Because I want them to come. They worship me. They will come kill you all in my name."
What?
While everyone begins to argue with Rufus, Daisy says that she knows what they can do. Rufus has had a secret escape route built into this tower. Daphne gives Rufus one last kick while Daisy tells everyone that the passage is through this bookcase. Rufus yells
I
at
think
Daisy
so.
that she can't leave him. He made her. She's nothing without him. Now,
That was
going,
Velma.
Daisy stops and then walks over and slaps him, telling him that she may have once been his pet, but never again. As Daisy hits the switch for the bookcase, Shaggy calls Fred, telling him to hurry around and pick them up. As everyone runs down the stairway, the monsters begin coming up into the penthouse, and Rufus shouts to them that they must obey him. However, as Velma looks back, it would appear that they're not listening. Once everyone gets loaded up in the mystery machine, Daisy tells them to wait. Did Rufus manage to get away? Velma looks back at the effigy the monsters placed Rufus in, on fire, and says no, not a chance in hell. After getting out of the city and into Waterville, the gang stops to get things ready before they finally move out. Shaggy sees Daisy standing there and he asks if everything is okay. She tells him that she's not sure. It feels like she just awoke from a bad dream. Even without the nanite plague, the last few years with her husband have been a nightmare. He transformed into a monster, just not like those creatures. Shaggy tells her that it's okay. Rufus is gone and she'll be safe with them. She asks if she's really safe. The entire world is a nightmare now. Maybe she's better off with the cocktail of antidepressants and sedatives that Rufus was force-feeding her. Shaggy says that she can't really mean that, and Daisy sighs, stating that she doesn't know what she means. She appreciates what they've done for her, though. Shaggy stops her, stating that she just has to have some faith in God and a Velma. With Velma and Daphne going back and forth, Fred steps out asking...
Fred's design in this looks so weird to me.
Velma says that it's just a theory that she has, but the lack of monster sightings in the recent days have been the result of a mass migration. Something is uniting the creatures. Scooby turns back and barks, "Rignal, following the Rignal!"
Scooby's almost got a mustache.
The canines' rural facilities are far more advanced compared to their own. Scooby can perceive the frequencies that they can't hear. She then asks what he's hearing, and Scooby barks,
"See, there it is."
And Fred says that he's
There's
pretty
another
sure
explanation.
that he hears a voice. Daphne asks who could be doing this summoning,
Helps
and
pick
Velma
up
says
frequencies
there's
as
only
well,
one way
Dave.
to find out. They have to go and see what's controlling these creatures. Daphne then says that as much as she hates to admit this, Velma's right. Everyone back to the mystery machine. A short while later, on an overpass above a swarm of monsters, Shaggy says that this was a terrible idea, and Velma tells him that he's absolutely right. They shouldn't be up here. They should be down there observing the creature's behavior from close range. Shaggy yells that that is not what he meant, and Velma asks him if he's so terrified, why did he volunteer to come? Is he trying to impress Daisy? Shaggy tells her, "What? No! Okay, maybe a little. I'm not sure what it is, but the second I lay my eyes on her..." Velma finishes, "You lost your mind? While I admit that Daisy is attractive and presents a somewhat classic damsel in distress, you really shouldn't even bother. She's not even your type." Velma then says that this isn't working, and she jumps onto the ledge shouting to the monsters. Shaggy shouts, "Knock it off!" But Velma tells him that it's just as she thought. No reaction. Shaggy then says, "Just what I thought, things couldn't get any weirder." A little while later, as Shaggy and Velma return, Daphne asks, "So..." And Velma tells her, "They're fine, thank you for asking." Daphne then says that she knows they're
Bruise
fine,
under
but
the
her
eye?
screams of
Interesting.
agony otherwise. While Velma and Daphne get back to work on the computer, Velma realizes something. The back roads that they took actually allowed them to get ahead of the monsters, but they're not coming this way. They're all taking the exit about a half-mile back into a wooded area. Shaggy asks, "Wait, you're not planning on following them into the woods, right? After watching so many horror movies, I can honestly say that we shouldn't follow them." Velma then hops down off the roof of the van, and Fred says that he has to agree with Shaggy on this one. It's a bad idea. Besides, the mystery machine will get stuck. Velma tells him, which is why...
I love their new mystery machine in this.
Volunteers only, of course, with her being first. Shaggy asks, when did she become so fearless? And Velma yells, she's terrified, but also responsible for this. Those creatures wouldn't exist if not for her. Now she intends to fix this mess or die trying, preferably not the latter, so who's with her? A short while later, Shaggy says they should...
Yeah, preferably not the latter for sure.
Daphne, Velma, and Scooby all sneak through the forest, keeping a close eye on the monsters. Velma tells Daphne that there is one thing that she would like to tell her. Something that she needs her to know. She needs to know how much they all mean to her. Daphne says she gets it. She can only say that she's proud to have her as a friend, but don't tell anyone she said that, or she
Agreed.
will take her
Savage
out.
Gamer.
Just as the three begin to move out, there's someone in the shadows...
Hey, Zachary.
Dog. As the three move up, Scooby begins sniffing the air, and Velma says that she has a feeling that they're being watched. Daphne tells her, whenever someone says it's like we're being watched, all of a sudden, that's when a voice yells, "The big bad monster attacks!" Scooby hears the voice
big
yells,
bad
"Uh-oh."
monster
The dog from
attacks.
before, wearing some of the same smart dog tech that Velma mentioned before, leaps out. And he says, "Ruh-oh, elegant as ever, aren't you, Scoobertole, pal?" Velma says that these dogs, she remembers them from the smart dog program. The dog then asks, "You do remember me? I know I've changed since the last time that we saw each other, but I was kind of hoping that you would recognize your old pal, Scrappy-Dabby-Doo!" Velma asks if it's really
Yo!
Scrappy goes on telling her, "You used to play with me and rub my belly, but that's all changed since they put the implants in. After that, I was just another experiment. But I'm not here to open up old wounds." Daphne raises her gun asking, "Then what is it?" And Scrappy tells her, "This doesn't concern you. It's between me, the doc, and the half-wit dame." Velma tells Daphne that
Dude, they always are
Scrappy
doing
gets closer
something
and
with
says,
Scrappy.
"I'm fast, Red. So fast that I can have my teeth on your throat before you even pull the trigger." Before she could finish, Scooby lunges at Scrappy.
Oh, really? Sonic the Hedgehog's gonna be on MeTV Tunes? Very cool. I do like it, Zachary. Very nice.
Other dogs to handle Scooby. Make sure not to kill him, though. Scooby-Doo is mine. Daphne and Velma begin to navigate through the monsters, but as Scrappy gets closer,
Festive,
Daphne
yeah.
begins shooting at them, trying to hit Scrappy. Scrappy jumps evading shots, yelling to give him Dinkley or she'll die. And Daphne goes back to shooting, and as she runs out of ammo, Scrappy tells her, "Looks like you're out. There isn't a scratch on me. Looks like I win this one." And as the monsters start to swarm around, Daphne tells him to enjoy the victory, because it isn't going to last long. With Scrappy's pack snarling at Scooby and backing him into a corner, the canines all begin to hear the voice of Cliffy yelling for them to wait. He tells the pack that Scrappy said that they all came from the same complex, right? That means they're family, and family don't turn on each other. And just as he says that, gunfire can be heard in the distance as Scrappy calls back to everyone, telling them that he could use some help over here. The dogs quickly spin around and run towards Scrappy's voice, and Cliffy tells them, "Wait, don't leave me alone here." Up ahead, as Daphne, Velma, and Scrappy fight off.
I remember this art piece being released. This was one of the big art pieces advertising the arc. Hey, Sean. Yeah, for sure. 1,000. Yeah. R.I.P.
Struggles to break free. She says that's the thing. These monsters are not trying to kill them. If they wanted, they'd already be dead. They're trying
Apparently,
to
Savage Gamer.
Just then, Scrappy's pack charges through, locking their jaws into anything that has a hold of the three, tearing off limbs as they go. As Velma is thrown to the ground, Scrappy picks
Chuck
her
E.
back up,
Cheese
telling her,
show.
"Now it's time for me to get what I've come here for."
I do gotta watch
Tosses
The
her away
Penguin.
from everything, and before he can jump down to strike, Daphne hits him with the butt of her gun, stating, "You're not going to take us anywhere." She then calls out to Scooby, and Scrappy asks, "What? You think that pathetic loser's gonna save you?" Scooby jumps onto the monster, pinning Daphne, and rips its arm off, telling Daphne to run. Scrappy growls, telling him, "Oh no, nobody is killing Scooby-Doo other than me." Back with Velma, she begins looking for her glasses when she hears a young boy ask if she's okay. Cliffy picks up the glasses, handing them to Velma, and as she puts them on, she says, "Oh, you're the little boy who was with Scrappy-Doo when he first confronted us. What are you doing as Scrappy in a pack of bloodthirsty animals anyway?"
Why has he got a Batman shirt on?
Isn't so bad. It's Scrappy. He's his best friend. Before Velma
Don't tell me they're gonna do some stuff like that's Bruce Wayne.
And Daphne yells, "Run!" The two quickly fall behind, and seconds later, the entire group flies out of the bushes back towards Shaggy and the others. Everyone checks in each other to make sure that they're okay, and Daphne notices Cliffy sitting there, crying. She asks what's his deal, and Velma tells her that she suspects that he might be crying because he's worried about Scrappy-Doo. Back where the original fight took place, Scrappy
Is it 3D, like CGI, Liam, or 2D?
the remains of his pack. Scrappy thinks, "Sure, my boys were a bunch of idiots, but they were my idiots, my responsibility, and I let them down. Looks like we're gonna have to follow these beasties to get my vengeance, and then come back."
Follow these
Over at
beasties.
the camp, Shaggy says, Wait, that was Scrappy? From the complex? Sure. He gave
Dude,
Scooby
I
a lot of
can't
trouble.
get over
There's no
Fred's
way they could have
design.
fallen into that.
Dude,
Fred asks,
he's
"What
like the
exactly are you
Giga
supposed to
Chad.
do now?"
Look at his
Barely
jaw.
survived, and now we have this
It's
poor kid
crazy.
with us. Velma tells everyone that they need to go back out there and find what's controlling these monsters. If they somehow gain control of whatever it is, maybe they can fix things.
2D,
Daphne
okay, very
begins to
cool.
grumble and then shouts, "I hate it when you're right." All right, people, going back to the front lines.
Going
with
back to the
Scrappy,
front
he's
lines.
alongside the monsters, watching them as they all begin to gather around an abandoned home. He heads around the back and climbs a drain pipe, and he looks over the roof and he stares and says, "Ruh-oh." Down in the middle, all of the monsters that have been gathering are climbing on top of one another, locking themselves together to create a giant humanoid creature. Down in the middle of the massive bodies, a telepathic voice begins to come from the giant's mouth, stating, "Come, from far and near, from earth and sky. The mouth begins to open, and inside there's a light shining.
I'm saying they really do need to make one.
A large pulsing head shouts, "Be one with us. Be one with me." Back up on the
Fair,
road, Scrappy
Swiftblade's
watches,
fair.
and he hears a voice in the heart of the thing. Something calling to all of the beasties here, but who is it? And what do they want? While Scrappy tries to come up with a plan, he hears something coming from down below, and he sees Shaggy, Scooby, Velma, and Daphne sneaking their way up. As the four get closer to the horde, Velma says that they need to get up there and figure out what's going on. Suddenly, Scrappy's voice can be heard from behind, and he says that he can tell them what's going on. Everyone spins back, and Scrappy goes on telling them that the monsters are joining together to create some kind of mega monster. I'm not gonna be sticking around when that thing's completed, but I ain't leaving here without the doc. And Daphne tells him over her dead body. Scrappy tells her that can be arranged. Shaggy says, "Really? There's a giant monster forming and we want to start a fight now? You ever think like maybe we should be working together or something?" Scrappy then says, "If that's the case, then I'm going to be needing the doc to look at my implants. A few weeks back, my mind's been getting all cloudy and my body's been reverting. The process is already happening, and at times I kind of phase out. The next thing you know, I'll be running around in circles chasing my tail. All I wanted was to go back to normal.
Just like a dog.
I don't have much choice."
Just like a real dog.
Heartbeat if she could, but she needs a laboratory of equipment. She can't exactly just wave her hands and magically, suddenly, there's a loud crunch and the giant creature begins to stand up on its own 2 feet. Shaggy yells, "It's time for us to run!" And Velma says, "We can't yet. We need to understand the force behind the hive mind. Harness it for the good of the world." And Scrappy tells her, "I already know what it is. It's some kind of frequency that manipulates the beasties. I can actually hear it." And Scooby says, "Frequency? That's right." Everyone turns back and Shaggy asks, "What? You mean that thing's like alive in the center and is calling out all the monsters?" And Scrappy says, "Sure seems like it." The small creature inside of the giant...
It does kind of look like an anime.
And begins to walk.
Whoa, look at this thing.
The giant collapses, falling back to the ground. Scooby then asks, "What happened?" And Velma says that it must have surpassed its stress tolerance. There's no skeletal structure and it collapsed under its own weight. The monster then begins to pull back and the creature inside thinks that she's right. He'll need more support. That Velma has a clever mind. She'll make a fine addition to the Amalgamine. Across the way, Scrappy then tells everyone it's weak right now. It's a perfect time for us to strike. I can finally get my revenge on that thing for killing my crew. Velma then yells, "No! We need the entity on the inside that's controlling the hive mind." Though, figuring that out might be the hard part. Scrappy growls, telling her that while she's figuring that out, he's gonna tear this thing to pieces. And Velma says that he can't go, even in its weakened state. If it attacks, there's a chance it can kill him. Stay with them and she can help him. Scrappy asks, "Do you really mean that?" Velma says, "Oh no, the monsters. They're using parts of the house to reinforce it." Shaggy sighs, telling them, "Can we please, like, run away now? Like, really, really fast?" Scrappy then begins to think to himself that if they leave now, that thing could destroy a lot more than that around them.
That good, huh, Zachary?
For little Cliffy. Scrappy then begins
All right, I'll have to check it out.
They need to go back and see Cliffy and tell him, forget it, I'm pretty sure he already knows. Scooby calls out to Scrappy and then begins chasing after for help. Up ahead, as Scrappy jumps into the crowd, he begins barking at the monsters, and then he thinks, "Wait, did I just bark? The implants are going out faster than I realized." Scrappy then latches onto the side of the house, and as he looks down, he sees Scooby running and attacking the surrounding monsters. He lets go to help Scooby, and then he asks, "Why am I doing this?" And Scooby shouts, "Runs!" And Scrappy says,
"Runs!
Right, I got friends back there." And Scooby shouts, "Not just them! Rappy's my friend too!" Scrappy claws his way through the pack of monsters asking, "How could you say that after the way I treated you back there? I resented you because when we went through the program, me and my pack changed. You're the only one who didn't." The voice from before then tells Scrappy, "The other one is everything that you once were. Everything that you still want to be." And Scrappy shouts to him, "Get out of my
Best
head!"
show of the year, huh?
Scrappy looks back at Scooby telling him, "Keep on fighting the good fight and don't ever change." As Scrappy
Oh, you like
begins to
Colin
go
Farrell's
ahead,
Penguin?
Scooby tells him, "Right!" And Scrappy then
I'll need to watch it. I gotta subscribe to my Max.
The creature in the center and he tells him, "Woof." Suddenly there's an explosion of purple light, destroying the house, and the creature's voice shouting, "No!" And Velma says that it wasn't a physical explosion, more like a psychic wave. She could hear the thing's death
Ooh, a psychic wave.
Shaggy says, "No, my little buddy. Scooby was right in the middle of it all."
Any survivors?
As the time passes, Shaggy, Velma, and Daphne all sit in a tree, waiting in hopes that the freed monsters will disperse. Shaggy looks at the swarm of monsters, asking Velma if she thinks that these monsters will ever go away. And she tells him, judging by them really not doing anything, they may very well die from starvation before they have a chance to leave. Shaggy sighs, saying, "Maybe Scooby will make it back to the camp and let Fred and Daisy know where we are." Velma stops him and says,
His Shaggy is pretty good.
Scooby and Scrappy met their ends when they destroyed the entity controlling the monsters. Shaggy yells, "I don't care what you want! Scoob's a survivor! Scoob is definitely out there!" But as the two go back and forth, they begin to notice Daphne being rather quiet. Velma says that they need to be quiet now. No more talking, so they might have a chance to survive the night. And as Daphne listens to them, she thinks to herself, yeah, surviving the night. It's a wonder we survived at all, considering what we've all been through.
Dang, look at those.
Mutated monstrosities. What would Daddy say if he saw her now? Actually, he would stop whining. Even though she grew up privileged, her father would always push her to be better, work harder, unlike her mother. Her father used to be so proud of her when she graduated first in her class in journalism. But that all went away when she lost her job in Washington, D.C. and turned to TV. After having her own show on a major network, she was just following fake mysteries like the Loch Ness Monster. Then after some time, there was a new president that took over the network, and they decided to cancel Daphne's show, Enigma Quest, regardless of its popularity. So Daphne did what any person in a situation would do and knocked her boss out. Thankfully, though, Fred was always there to bail her out, even if it was from actual jail. And it was after Fred convinced their boss not to press charges that he mentioned maybe they should do something on their own. His aunt works for the knitting channel, and they wanted to rebrand themselves to get a younger audience. 2 months later, Daphne Blake's Mysterious Mysteries made its debut, which ultimately led to an anonymous tip about the complex. And now, in their current situation, she's stuck in a tree with an erotic genius and a Zen hipster with monsters that could rip them to
Zen hipster with monsters.
Meanwhile, back with Fred and Daisy. Daisy says Cliffy finally managed to fall asleep after asking when is Scrappy coming back 100 times. She can't really imagine what he's going through. Traveling on the road with a pack of dogs and... Fred? Half paying attention, Fred asks her what. Oh, sorry. Guess I've just been off of my head worrying about. Daisy asks Daphne, and Fred tells her, yeah, she, well...
Worrying about Daphne.
Daisy says that he shouldn't worry too much. Daphne's a born leader, a warrior. If anyone will get...
He's always worrying about Daphne.
Fred sighs, saying, yeah, that's what everyone keeps saying, but I know her better than anyone else. She acts tough and strong, but she's really more vulnerable and insecure than she lets on. Daisy then says that he does love her, though. Did they ever get close? Fred thinks back to the time he met Daphne
I'll have to watch it, Zachary.
Once, and it didn't go so well. She tells him not to give up on her.
Nice, Liam.
God knows they need a few more hopeless romantics in the world, but before she can finish, Cliffy calls out for Scrappy again. And Daisy says it looks like Cliffy's having yet another nightmare. Better go take care of him. Fred sighs and says, yeah. A few hours later, with the others, Velma and Shaggy begin to doze off when Shaggy suddenly falls out of the tree in front of a monster. The monster growls, looking over at Shaggy, and without even thinking, Daphne jumps down from her branch onto the monster.
Yo!
For him to get back up, and just as Shaggy starts to climb, Daphne follows closely behind. As she makes her way up, another monster grabs her by the hair and throws her back.
Get her!
The monsters begin to swarm around her. She yells that they better make it back alive and tell Freddy that. But just then, Velma stops her and asks, do you really think we're going to leave you? And jumps off from her branch to help, but she ends up missing. Velma coughs as she looks around, stating, okay, I need to work on my aim. And seconds later, Shaggy jumps down, stating, I will save you!
Thank you, Cookie, yes.
The two of them that it's too bad that there's not a camera crew here. It would have made a great final episode of Daphne Blake's.
For those of you that are in here, are you guys liking this? We can do more. If you guys like this comic watching thing. I wanted to at least do this one for Halloween.
That's right! A short while later, after nearly bleeding out, Velma and Daphne carry Shaggy's body through the woods. He tells them that they should leave him behind and go find Fred and Daisy. Once they get back to the mystery machine, they can just come pick him up. Velma says absolutely
DC
not.
Sopranos.
There still might be some creatures around. Daphne adds, in your shape, they would tear you to pieces. Velma then tells Shaggy that he was incredibly brave back there. He fought hard, so just try and relax.
Gotcha, Kogias. That's a shame.
Shaggy says that he can't forget them, though. Each and every one of those monsters, they used to be humans like them. Daphne shouts that if they're ever going to restore humanity, then they have to stay alive, even if it means killing a few monsters. They're not human anymore, but if he's going to let himself have compassion for them, the monsters will destroy him and the rest of them. Velma says for the record, she agrees with Shaggy. They have to stop.
A little bit, right, Liam?
Never forget who they
well, good, Swiftlets. Yeah, maybe we'll do more.
That turned them into these monsters. Daphne snaps back. Believe her, she'll never forget. If she has to destroy a few thousand monsters to save billions, then so be it. As the three walk on, Scooby looks back asking, Scrappy? And Shaggy says that he must be worried about Scrappy, wondering if he made it. Daphne tells him good riddance to him. And Shaggy says, good riddance. Without Scrappy, there's a good chance we'd all be dead right now.
Yeah.
Walking for a little while, the four of them get back to the camp, while Velma patches up Shaggy and Cliffy asks, where's Scrappy? Daisy tells him that she's sure that he's fine.
There's a little Bruce Wayne boy again.
Cliffy says, what does that mean? Velma says, well, Scrappy was incredibly brave. He took on wave after wave of monsters so that we could get away. He sacrificed himself for the greater good. And Daphne says that Velma shouldn't sugarcoat it. Sure, Scrappy helped them, but it was pure luck that they got away. They all would have been better off without him. Cliffy begins to sob.
Have you seen the bat suit that they leaked for the sequel? It's supposed to be like blue and gray.
Scooby and Scrappy were viciously fighting off the monsters when one leaped out of the shadows.
I think it looks okay.
The monster pinned him to grab but as Shaggy tries to remember, he wakes up in the hotel bed asking where are they. Velma says that they're in the Motor Inn in Montana, just over the border from Washington. He's been asleep for hours. They had to come here to get some antibiotics, among other things, but everyone is outside. Shaggy asks...
Oh yeah, I saw it on Facebook when I was scrolling the other day.
...to worry about any woman who's married to her brother. All of them are emotionally damaged goods. Shaggy then tells her that if being an emotionally damaged person stopped people from falling in love, we'd all be living alone. Outside, Cliffy asks, throw a ball around? And Fred asks him, why not? He says because he's only got one arm and he's on crutches. All of them are so quick to leave Scrappy behind. Just leave him alone. As he wanders off, he goes around the corner to find Scooby going to the bathroom. Scooby says that he's sorry, and Cliffy says, don't worry about it. It's not like he's never seen a dog poop before. He was running around with Scrappy for weeks, and when they had to go, they had to
Very
go.
nice plush. What'd you find?
Scrappy's name, and Cliffy says they just finally started to like each other, huh? He can see that Scrappy was a good dog, just like him, right? He can't trust anyone, especially that crazy red-haired lady. Well, he trusts Daisy. She's right, and she trusts him. So, how about they go play fetch? He knows where a ball is. A short while later outside, Shaggy begins to think back again what happened. When the monster pinned him...
I hear ya. I don't blame you, Cookie Ass. It was not my favorite Batman film either.
Scrappy said, the hipster ain't dying today. Scrappy then wrestled the monster down, telling Shaggy, I remember back...
Little bit right? About what?
Nothing like the others. Now it's time for us to get on out of here before... But that was the sound of ripping flesh could be heard, and Scrappy screamed out in pain. As Velma was picking him up, Shaggy told her to wait. Those things are killing
Sounds
Scrappy!
Good, Plush.
And Velma shouted that they don't have weapons and there's no way to stop it. Scrappy knew what he was doing and he wanted to buy them some time, so they need to accept the precious gift and live. Shaggy leans against the mystery machine sighing, and Fred asks him what's wrong as he looks down. Shaggy tells him that he just keeps thinking of what Scrappy did for them, what he did for him. They were terrified of him, but then he turned out to be the most human of all. Then they have a guy like Rufus who turned out to be the biggest monster
into the Scooby-verse, yeah, right.
world that they live in.
I hope so as well, Cookie Ass, and I'm sure it will.
Sure. Daphne thinks that
I am sure it will.
She thinks that he...
Hold on one second.
Stops him, telling him, yeah, I know what she thinks, and I don't care. Up ahead, Daphne and Daisy scout out the area, and they find a town, a clean, undamaged, normal-looking town. Daphne says they should go check it out. Daisy insists they go back and tell the others. It's possible that the place could be a trap. They should go back and tell them so they can go see it as a group, not rush into something that they don't know anything about. Daphne grumbles and tells her, fine, they'll go back, but watch. They're all going to agree that they should have gone in. As they get back to the camp, Velma says that she agrees with Daisy it could very well be a trap. But Daphne begins to argue that they should go there.
Back.
They rustle in the bushes, and when everyone looks back, they all stop talking. 3 men holding guns tell them, with how things have been, they in the town don't like taking any chances. So if they could be kind enough to come with them. A short while later, in the small, busy little town, everyone sees people walking around having a good time with no concerns of any monsters.
Having a good time.
The sheriff says that he's sorry for the confusion, but this town doesn't know anything about any nanite plague. They did lose contact with the outside world, and people ventured out stating that they had seen things that shouldn't exist, but nothing has come close to their quiet little town. That is to say, unless they are really monsters. Velma says that if they were monsters,
I had just said that, yeah, a little bit, I said a little bit right, I think about,
for now, they're just gonna have to
what you had said about Daisy. Daisy looked like she had feelings for him. So I said, yeah, a little bit right.
Walks Velma out. She says that she would be happy to continue this. They're all in the same boat, right? The sheriff smiles, telling her, yeah, we're all in the same boat. Once Velma is brought out to the hotel with everyone, the sheriff escorting Velma tells everyone to just sit tight for a few hours to sort things out. Tonight, they will have themselves a little get-together to introduce themselves and make them all feel nice and welcome. As the sheriff shuts the door and locks it, Velma asks if they're so welcomed, why are they being locked up? While everyone argues,
that's a fair question.
Cliffy and Scooby listen in on the other room, trying not to pay attention. As Cliffy gets up and walks to the window, he looks out to see
Rialto,
showing.
the invasion of the body snatchers.
He begins to get a sinking feeling that maybe...
Dang, man, does this kid owe anything but Batman shirts?
Later that night, the sheriff brings everyone out and says that they are free to walk around the town. They have a welcoming party in the high school gym at 8, so they can meet with the folks. Shaggy tells him that he's a bit confused. First, you brought us in here at gunpoint, and now you're treating us like family? It's so hard to let my guard down and trust anyone.
Oh, Munting Master, thank you for the follow.
What they need to do. Just trust that this will all work out. The sheriff says that he likes what he hears. They will see them all later at the shindig tonight. Shaggy tells him, sure thing! And Daphne says, sure thing. Are we just going to accept all of this? Fred says that that is the first bit of kindness and hospitality that they've seen in months. Yes, they are going to accept this. Velma then says, how about they all just take a deep breath and accept the gestures, but keep their observant and alert nature for possible danger. Cliffy tells Velma that if she is looking for the weird, how about the fact that they are in Montana in November and it's warm? Daphne yells, that proves it. There's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to get to the bottom.
Oh, you just ordered the regular edition of Sparking Zero? Very nice.
Cliffy looks away and sees a young girl waving at him. Cliffy walks over. The young girl says that...
Yeah, let me know what you think, Code Geass. You might like it.
Her name is Carrie, delighted to meet him. As Cliffy kind of backs away, Carrie asks, what? Are you scared of girls? I won't bite. And Cliffy yells that he's not afraid of girls, but he's seen some crazy stuff. She wouldn't happen. But Carrie stops him, pointing over at the others, stating, can you tell me about your family? They look like nice people. Cliffy says that they're not his family, though maybe they are now. His real family is, well, those people are nice. Except for the redhead. She's kind of crazy. Carrie then says that that's not true. She's just scared and trying to cover it up by acting braver than she actually is. Sometimes she can just tell these things. As Carrie looks back, she notices Cliffy's missing arm and shouts, oh no, what happened? And Cliffy says that he lost it when the monsters came for him and his family. Carrie smiles.
Sure, can do, Zachary.
Don't worry, she can fix it. See? She waves her arm, and Cliffy begins to see a sparkling green light. And in the place where his arm used to be, one magically starts to appear. Cliffy screams at the sight, asking, "What did she do?" And Carrie says,
yeah, I thought the first Joker film was great.
Why is he upset? She helped him. And Cliffy yells that this is not his arm. And Carrie says, "Of course it's not. I can't regrow the old one, so I molded on a new one out of your memories." Cliffy yells for her to just get away from him. And Carrie turns crying, running into a back alleyway. Everyone runs over to Cliffy asking what's wrong, and he explains what happened. And while everyone makes sure that Cliffy is okay, Shaggy looks around stating that judging by the looks of the crowd, they might want to leave. The sheriff walks up through the crowd stating, "All right, folks, get your things together. Get out of the town."
Dude, Fred is fucking jacked, man.
If they don't leave town in the next few minutes, they're going to be shot where they stand.
Well, I never really watched too much of Phineas and Ferb originally, so...
What exactly did they do to offend them? While everyone starts to come up with their theories, Cliffy decides that something seemed off about Carrie, and he heads back in. As he gets back, he sees that the town is empty. All of the people that were just walking around are gone. Cliffy walks through the town and he stops in the movie theater, and Carrie calls out to him, telling him that it was his favorite movie. He would watch it over and over again, scaring the heck out of himself, and she would pretend to like it so that she could stay with him. Her father died when she was young, and her mother always wanted to work 2 to 3 jobs, so she was always alone. And she's sorry about his arm. She was just trying to help. Cliffy says, yeah, he knows that now. It just really frightened him. Carrie jumps off the building, telling him, yeah, he really made her mad, telling her to get away. That's why she chased him and his friends out of town. She just thought that she could have a real friend. After everything, she thought she was alone. The only visitors that they get are the monsters, time to time. Cliffy says that the sheriff said that there
I kind of like this girl. Hey, Catton. Hey, Julia.
Stating that they come, and when she gets through with them, they don't stay very long. But all that matters is that he's back, and they don't need any stupid grown-ups. The two of them.
I think so too, Kogias.
Cliffy starts to
nice, David's back.
Asks, what about the adults? It's so empty here. And Carrie tells him that it's always been that way. All those people are in her head. She can just think them.
Yeah, I know, right, Liam? He does look like he has that.
Even possible. And Carrie says that it started a few months ago when everything bad started to happen.
2 hours and 21 minutes.
Because they're so vicious and nasty, she made them all go away. And when she was the only one left, she made a.
We're an hour in.
No matter how much she pretended, they just aren't real. They aren't. Cliffy says, so the nanites didn't turn her into a monster. Instead, they give her powers. Carrie snubs her nose, telling him that it doesn't matter. He's here. And together, they'll make the town into anything that they want. So they can just forget all about the others. Cliffy says that he can't leave his friends. They're like his family now. And Carrie yells that she can make him a better family. Heck, she can bring back his old family.
Oh, shit.
No, she can't do that. If she did, it would all be fake. How does he even know that she's real? Carrie turns to leave and asks, why did he even come back? And Cliffy says that he's not sure. Maybe he was curious. Maybe he just felt bad. Maybe she can come with them. Carrie says that she can't do that. It'd be better if they stayed here because of the monsters. Most of them are bad, and Cliffy tells her, wait a second, all monsters are bad. Carrie sighs and turns away, stating that it sounds like he hates them. Cliffy yells, of course he hates them. They killed his family.
She's a monster.
Asks, what about the good ones? And Cliffy asks, did you just hear me? There are no good ones. She turns to leave.
I knew it.
She's an illusion. Well, once she turns back, she reveals her true form. Zombie-like form, stating that this is the real her. If he wants to run away, do it. Run away from the terrible monster. Find his friends and hunt her down. Cliffy tells her that he would never do that. Maybe the nanites changed the way that she looks, but it doesn't mean she's bad. She's just different. Just then, Daphne and the others call out to Cliffy, telling him to get away from that monster.
I don't think it's
Cliffy
actually
shouts,
supposed to be
stating,
Bruce
"Don't
Wayne.
hurt her.
It
She
just
can
looks
explain
just like him.
everything." She just... But Carrie tells Cliffy, goodbye, and thank you. Cliffy screams for them to wait. She is his. And Daphne pulls the trigger, hitting Carrie in the head. Daisy runs over to bring Cliffy back, and Daphne tells everyone, all right, everyone back in the van. There might be more of those things. Cliffy says that she's dead, and Daisy tells him that's right. The monster's dead. They can't hurt him now. As the Mr. Machine pulls up to the paper mill in snowy Spring Green, Wisconsin, Shaggy asks Velma
That's
to ensure that
crazy.
Shaggy into the mill, stating that
Congratulations, Julian. That's awesome. Being a manager is very difficult depending on the job, so be prepared. But congratulations. That's big. Huge congrats.
Shaggy then stops for a moment and asks, wait, your brother's name was Cheeves?
Oh, was it clipping for you?
Now Cheeves? What are your parents even thinking with those names? Velma stares at Shaggy and stating, you're one to talk, Norville. A short while later, Velma punches the security code into the wall terminal and a door swings open. Shaggy holds up his gun.
I'm loving it so far, David.
I'm
I'm having such a great time with it.
And not Daphne. Velma tells him it's because Daphne can be a little quick to shoot things. If they encounter a stray cat, they may end up shooting the place and destroying the data that they need.
Hey, Simius Unicorn.
Cliffy sits alone, asking if he's waiting for something. Daisy asks why is he out here in the cold, and Cliffy says that he's got nothing to do. Scoob says
He's got nothing to do.
Cliffy sighs, stating, yeah. I know it's dumb, but no one actually saw Scrappy Doo die, right? That means that he might still be out there looking for us. If anybody could survive, it could be Scrappy. Daisy tells him it's nice to hope, but they also need to accept that it's possible that they may never see him again. Isn't that right, Scooby? Scooby says, "Ruh, Rappy will be back. Gotta have faith." And the Mr. Machine, Fred, asks if they can hear that. The talking dog told the one-armed kid that he needs faith. Feels like we're stuck inside of a Lewis Carroll story. Are you guys even listening back there? Daphne tells him no, she's busy searching the web. It's strange how many sites are still
He said it feels like it's stuck we're in a Lewis Carroll story.
It's Christmas Eve. Before Daphne can go on, Shaggy opens up the back door and he realizes something down there. Daphne asks, was it that he realized that they would be safer with her up here? And Daphne then grabs
Oh,
her
I'm not. I
out,
think it's
but as her and
Clippy.
Shaggy walk
I think
back
it's
to the facility,
Clippy.
Shaggy mentions that he told Velma to stay at the entrance and wait for them. Daphne and Shaggy hurry down into the lower levels, and after spotting a decomposing monster,
Look
they
at
begin to
that.
interact
That's
with
so
each other.
cool.
The two ready their guns, and they move into the next room to find Velma sitting at the computer typing away. Daphne walks up to Velma, smacking her in the back of the head, shouting that Shaggy told her to stay at the entrance. This place could be crawling with monsters. She fixes her glasses and states that perhaps curiosity got the better of her. She was anxious to begin sorting through Athena's files, but yes, she should have waited. Daphne then yells that she's got some nerve.
Will do,
Simius
Simius Unicorn. Thank you.
To stay mad at her. Velma turns back to the computer, stating that she doesn't want to sound insensitive or anything, but she really needs to be left alone to concentrate. This could take a while. Back outside, Cliffy walks with Scooby,
Cliffy.
telling him that he
Cliffy.
doesn't understand why Daphne did it. Carrie, she looked like a monster, but she wasn't like the others. She was lonely. Scoob tells him, "No, Ryan to protect you." And Cliffy says that he guesses, but she could have just waited a minute. As Cliffy goes on, he sits down, stating that he doesn't know anymore. All of his running, always afraid, he just misses the way that life used to be. Down at the facility, Daphne and Shaggy sit down and
They're
talk,
super
and suddenly
Scooby.
notice Velma's typing a stop.
Where's Ben?
A few
Ben needs to
moments
be
later,
here.
She walks out with her head hanging, stating that they need to get
Pyro should be here soon.
She'll tell them what she found. Once everyone begins to walk outside, they see a small Christmas tree.
Aw.
Fred says that he knows that it's not a traditional tree.
Christmas
Cliffy
tree.
looks at it and says, actually, he kind of likes it. And Daisy then asks, anyone up for some Christmas carols then? As Velma and the rest walk up, Velma heads straight into the mystery machine and there's a loud smash. She leans back out, throwing a broken laptop into the snow, and Daphne asks what's going on. Whatever it is, she can tell them. She says that she scoured the Project Elysium files.
Oh, did they already confirm a Silent Hill 3
Somehow
remake?
They became autonomous and started initiating their own program. That's what started the plague, but after running dozens of models, there is no way to reverse the contagion. The horrifying conclusion is, the plague is irreversible. Merry Christmas. With that news, the gang then continues their journey east, reaching the Henry Hudson Mall in Albany, New York. Outside, the mall creatures crawl around, and Shaggy asks if they're really going in there. Velma says yes, to which Daphne talks over her, telling everyone no. Shaggy says, well, that clears that up. Daphne then says that they've been traveling for 2 months, knowing that they have no way of curing the plague.
Seems to be.
All they can do now is just try to survive. Velma tells her that it is exactly what they're going to try to do, and inside the mall, they'll be able to find enough supplies to keep going indefinitely. They need to set up a base of operations so that if there are any survivors out there, they'll have a place to go. Daphne asks, what are they trying to build? They are the only survivors.
New main characters for now, anyways.
Things out there finally take them out. Velma looks back out at the parking lot, stating that she's been thinking about this since they left the Athena Center. The time is right and the future is theirs to shape. Daphne then asks if she's serious, and Velma says
Daphne
yes.
hardcore looks like Frankie Foster
Well,
here.
everyone begins to discuss exactly how they would even attempt to get into the mall. Cliffy asks, couldn't they just go through the sewer system? Everyone stops, and Velma says that it is a viable idea. She's actually impressed. And Cliffy tells her that he really can't take credit for it. He just saw it in a movie once. Daphne shouts that they can't be serious. And Shaggy then says, considering that none of them have had a shower in weeks, how bad could it really be? After getting the
How
blueprints
bad
from the
could
city
it
hall,
really
a rather
be?
heated conversation of who will be the ones to secure a path to the mall begins. Daphne and Fred decide that they're going to head into the sewers. As Fred steps down the ladder, Daphne asks why is he here, and Fred tells her that he thought the sewer would be a perfect place to propose. Daphne yells, how many times does she have to? And Fred shouts back, it's a joke! Sort of. As the two begin to head into the tunnels, Daphne asks, what does it say? And Fred says, oh no, it looks like we should have branched off back there. She sighs, and Fred yells, it's hard to read Velma's scrawl. It's scribbled on here. The two double back and they find a branching tunnel and they begin to crawl into it. And just as Daphne reaches the next opening, she gasps. Fred asks her what's wrong, and Daphne quickly whips around, grabbing Fred by the mouth, telling him to be quiet. They're not alone.
They're not alone.
Piece together homes made by the homeless themselves crawling around the area. Fred then quickly calls back to Velma to see what they should do next, and Velma tells them to turn around. As they talk, Daphne points to an opening and says that it should bring them straight into the mall. Velma overhears Daphne and yells, no, we need to turn around and get back as soon as possible. Fred whispers that this is Daphne they're talking about. They'll call later, you know, if they're still alive. As he hangs up the phone, Daphne begins to scoot across the...
Hey, Lunar. Long time no see.
As he begins to crawl out, there's a loud crack.
We're watching Scooby-Doo Apocalypse for Halloween.
Fred shouts that he's coming, and Daphne calls back to not even think about it, and then starts spraying the monsters with bullets. Through the bursts of fire, Daphne yells to Fred to just get out of here, and Fred opens fire, shouting, please, I haven't left your side since college. He jumps down, and Daphne tells him that he may be an idiot, but he's her idiot. And Fred
Probably
says,
Liam, yeah.
does that mean you finally say yes? She then asks what the hell is wrong with him. Why are we even talking about this? Just hurry back to the opening. The two begin to run to the stairs into the mall, and Fred stops and asks Daphne if she can hear it. She stops asking what? Fred says the monsters. They stopped following, which begs the question, why aren't they following?
Oh yeah, perfect for Scooptober.
Could be inside of the mall, or maybe they know another way into the mall that's behind that door. Daphne says there's only one way to find out. Fred asks, are we going in? And Daphne yells, oh yeah, we're definitely going in.
Monster Battle Royale.
Now as Daphne and
Little bit, right, David?
First level of the mall, they stop to survey the area and they find something really strange. All of
Except Fred is competent.
Fred asks,
So is Velma.
why are all the beasties already ripped to
Skibbity doo.
shreds? Daphne tells him that it looks like they killed each other. The two press on, but Daphne notices something about the monsters. They're all wearing makeshift.
Very cool, Lunar.
One group says Mears, while the other says C.J. Nichols. It's almost as if they were
C.J. Nichols.
battling against each other. They should really call this one in. A few moments later, Shaggy shouts over the phone. What do you mean they're like at a war? I'd ask what you've been smoking, but you're too much of a straight arrow, Fred. Fred tells him that
Too much of a straight arrow, Fred.
So they're gonna try to sit tight until they. But Daphne yells, no! Tell everyone to stay outside. We need to wait until it's clear. Fred sighs and says that Daphne said for everyone to wait. No, I don't agree with her, but you know Daphne. Shaggy
You know
tells her,
Daphne.
I don't like it either. Velma sets her watch for 15 minutes. After that, they are coming in. And be careful in there. Shaggy hangs up and Velma says that it's all right. Go grab the weapons. They're going in now. Back inside, Daphne inches closer to C.J. Nichols' department store.
Oh, it looks like it's a grocery store.
Sure that both armies are in fact wiped out. Velma may be a genius, but her plan is idiotic. Turning this place into a sanctuary for humanity, chances are that they're all going to die today, and if not, then soon. At the very least, this does give them something to live for. Maybe the monsters had the same sort of idea, build this place up like a fortress. But as Daphne gets closer to the escalator, she can hear the being chanted off in the distance, which means they are not alone. Daphne turns and starts to run back out of the store, back towards Fred, and Fred begins to get back up, asking, what is that sound? She continues to run by, yelling, we need to run! And Fred follows right behind, and he asks, are the monsters chanting shop? Daphne tells him that what they are chanting isn't important. It's the fact that
David.
there's a day. The chanting begins to get louder, and the two look back, and they see
Let me know how that is.
charging out of their respective stores, shouting, shop till you drop! The monsters collide, hacking away at each other, and Fred says this is the worst Black Friday sale ever. Daphne yells, that's not even funny! And Fred tells her, well, I thought it was mildly amusing.
I think so,
They
Cookie,
run
yes.
back towards the door to the sewers, and as she slams the door open, she hits someone, which happens to be Shaggy. Daphne stops to look and shouts, Velma? What the hell are you doing here? And Velma says, we're rescuing you, and you're welcome. Back outside, though, Scooby and Cliffy sit by the sewer.
Here, I'll turn it up
Cliffy
more.
Telling Scooby they should have gone with them. He's handled himself before on his own. A few monsters who wouldn't stop him. Daisy steps out of the mystery machine telling him that she's sure that that's what he may think. But really, he's still just a little boy, and as adults, they're going to watch over him. Cliffy says, well, who's going to watch over you? My mom and dad died protecting me. Maybe I should be the one protecting you. Daisy smiles, telling him, in a way, you already are. It's just having you around gives me hope for the future. So why don't we just protect each other like a family? Cliffy pauses and asks, family? Well, then I would hope for the rest of our family to get back here before. But as Cliffy looks at the sewer, he stops and asks, did anyone else hear that? It sounded like someone was moving down there, but stopped.
Wow, on
Down below, a
MTV,
monster
huh?
suddenly stops to listen in to Cliffy, and then turns to run
Wacky
off in the
Racers
direction towards the
Forever?
mall. As the monster gets closer, he sees the area where Daphne and Fred have passed, and all of his fellow monsters are dead. Back inside of the mall, Shaggy shouts through a cloth, you broke my nose! And Daphne tells him, it's not broken. Cracked maybe, but not broken.
Little
While the two of them
better?
go back
Okay.
and forth, Velma asks if they can just focus on the problem at hand here. Fred asks if she means the fact that there are two monster armies out there and they are fighting over which department store has the lowest prices. Velma then asks, why not just use the war to their advantage? And Daphne
Okay,
yells,
well, it's up all the
there
way
is
now.
no
Tell me how that
advantage
is."
here. Velma says that she needs to see the bigger picture. The monsters are in a savage conflict, which provides them with a safe haven that they've been looking for. Based on what they've witnessed so far, they seem to be gathering in their own stores, only emerging to fight in the main courtyard. As long as they stay away from those areas, they have a vast space to work with as they turn this place into a fortress. Shaggy pulls the
Goosebumps
cloth
aired
from
on the
his nose,
CW.
stating,
That's crazy.
Yeah? Or this place is just a massive tomb that we'll never escape from. Daphne sighs, rubbing her forehead, and Velma asks if she's in. She turns back, stating, this is the dumbest, most reckless thing we have ever done. Then Velma asks, so are you in? Daphne pulls her arm and bops Velma on the head, telling her, yeah, I'm in. And I did that for the sheer fun of it. Shaggy laughs, isn't she delightful? Velma fixes her glasses, telling him to just shut up. A few days later, Cliffy sits in the hallway, stating that grown-ups can sure be dumb sometimes. How can they believe that this is actually a good idea when there's monsters
Yeah,
all
they
over
did
the
the whole
place?
thing in
Fred
one,
then
yeah.
walks by carrying a box of supplies, telling him that he's worrying too much. He didn't like the idea of turning this place around at first, but Velma caught on to their patterns. The monsters only come out twice a day to set times to fight, allowing them room to work around them and out of their line of sight. Cliffy
Very
says
cool,
that it's
Lunar.
still crazy. Fred tells him, oh yeah, no, it's totally insane. But it's time that we take a stand, and who knows, maybe Velma's plan will actually work. Cliffy whispers to Scooby, telling him, see? Dumb! Fred asks, did you say something? Cliffy tells him, oh no! And Fred says, well, Shaggy and me are not the brightest bulbs in the chandelier, so if you want to call me dumb, that's fine. But Velma and Daphne are two of the strongest people I've ever known, so try and have a little faith in them. Cliffy tells him, well, I really didn't mean... Fred stops him, telling him, no worries. Just stay here and out of harm's way. As Fred heads back inside, Cliffy tells Scooby that maybe this could work. But down on the stairs, the monster from before starts to crawl back up. Up on the second floor opening, Shaggy looks at the mounds of monster bodies and asks,
Very
why
nice,
don't
David.
they
That's a
just,
great
like,
movie.
you know, go into each other's department stores and finish each other off? And Daphne asks, aren't you supposed to be the non-violent one who always reminds us that
I'll
these
check
are
it
rich
right now,
people?
Lunar.
And Shaggy tells her, yeah, maybe this might be more merciful than taking them all out at once instead of letting them slowly kill each other. Daisy then says that she's going to go back to rigging up the escalators. It's hard working with scavenged electronics, but if they try and come up to get us, the explosives could be set to tear them to pieces. Shaggy tells her to wait. When did you become an expert
Logo
at making
used
bombs?
since September 30th,
Daisy tells him,
2024.
"Believe it or
Is that the
not,
one?
I did have a life before I met Rufus.
It's
I was
literally
a chemist with
just
advanced
the
degrees
Disney
in biochemistry
logo
and
with
environmental chemistry, among
channel
others. I was teaching at
written
New York
underneath it.
University when Rufus
Super
recruited me to
lazy.
work at Dink Inc. But then Rufus came around with his charisma and broke me down. Before I knew it, I lost my center and my very self. However, back in the hallway, Cliffy tells Scooby that he's tired of being treated like a kid. He survived on his own before he met any of them. Scooby tells him, we tell you to stay because it's dangerous. And Cliffy says, yeah, of course it's dangerous, but I'm not staying here any longer. Just then there's a loud growl, and the monster that's been following the group jumps out shouting, little flash things. Scooby gets ready to jump, but Cliffy says, wait, did the monster say something? Maybe he's like Carrie and needs a friend. The monster lunges at Cliffy, but before he can grab him, Scooby jumps in and tells Cliffy, run! Cliffy runs up in to help Scooby, but as the monster slams Scooby into the wall, he grabs Cliffy and throws him down the railing and down the stairs. The monster gets back up shouting, "Out of my way! Eat the pale little thing!"
This
the monster
guy looks
swipes
like
at Scooby, but
Etrigan.
as Scooby dodges it, he says, "Revvy's my friend! Revvy's my boy!" And he jumps up, biting into the monster's shoulder. As the two fight, Cliffy starts to come to, and he runs into the supply closet to try and find something to help Scooby. He looks around when suddenly he sees a toolbox. Scooby continues to try and keep the monster back by biting him, when out from behind, Cliffy charges in with a screwdriver, stabbing it into the monster's head. The monster hesitates and then falls lifelessly to the ground,
it
with Cliffy
actually
beginning to cry.
got through?
He looks up telling
What?
Scooby that he loves him. And Scooby sits next to him telling him, "Love you too, Revy." Back in the courtyard, the monsters begin their twice daily fight, slaughtering those on the opposing sides, while the gang sits holed up on the second floor. While they have a moment of reprieve, Daphne says, she remembers the days when Velma and her were at each other's throats all
Hey,
day.
very
She kinda
nice,
misses
Lunar.
them.
You can join the
Shaggy tells her,
Discord now.
"Why not just poke fun at her for old time's sake?" And Daphne tells him that she'll take a poke at him if he's not careful.
Let me know whenever
But
you've
what
joined
she
it and I
means is
can
that
approve
lately
you.
Velma has been distant and hard to reach. She just misses their friendship is all. Fred quietly yells that that's more like it. Everyone happy and friendly. And Daisy asks, "Should we go check on Cliffy?" Fred tells her once the battle is over they will, but he has Scooby there protecting him. They're fine. Velma then says that she did see some welding equipment in one of those home improvement stores on the 3rd level. They should try to retrieve it and use it to weld the doors shut. Daphne then leans over stating, "Well, she just opened up to her and all she can think about is welding?" Shaggy laughs telling her, "Come on, poke her. She'll feel better." A few seconds later, Daphne leans back smiling, "That did make me feel better." And Shaggy holds up his bloody nose after being punched in it once again, stating, "I was kidding! And who? What the hell is wrong with you?" Daphne tells him, "Yeah, I got some issues." What's gonna happen to the Scooby Gang, my friends? Well, our next episode is going to be a doozy.
No way!
As the last board is put up along the wall, Shaggy looks at the barricade, stating that he almost feels like he's almost in Les Miserables. Fred asks what's that, and Shaggy tells him, the Broadway play, French Revolution, lots of singing? Forget it. Daphne then asks, "Can we just focus here?" And Velma says the question that they should be asking is, will this thing hold when the creatures launch their next assault? Daphne says the only certainty that they have in this world is uncertainty. Shaggy punches his
Shaggy
nose,
looks
stating
great
that
in
they
this
should
issue.
just
I
be
don't know
able
who
to
drew
start
him
getting
here,
rid
but
of
he
dead
looks great.
bodies. God only knows what kind of diseases they might have. Velma tells him that there's no indication of infection among their group. She's pretty sure that they are reasonably safe for now. Daphne then asks, "Reasonably?" They needed a more definitive answer, and Velma says that there is only certainty and uncertainty, right? As Daphne and Velma begin to argue about what they should do next, Shaggy looks over the railing down at the battlefield when Daisy walks by. She tells him that she would ask a penny for his thoughts, but given that they are living in a post-apocalyptic hellscape, currency is probably a bit outdated. Shaggy looks back asking, "What?" And Daisy says, "Nothing. He's just looking a little more troubled." Shaggy sighs, stating that the more he thinks about it, the more staying here seems like a bad idea. Every time that he tries to think about something else, the more it seems like it's the right thing. He doesn't know anymore. Maybe he should have just never taken the job at the
I
complex.
wonder
That
if
way,
Daisy
he would have just
and
become
Shaggy
infected and
are
he wouldn't
gonna
know
be a
anything
thing
about
in
what's
this.
going on. Daisy leans back, telling him, maybe. Then she wouldn't have met them all. And that's got to count for something, right? They're family now. As the two go on, Fred sits back watching them, thinking that Shaggy should just make a move already. He fell for Daisy months ago. The poor guy is still trying to muster up the courage to tell her how he feels. Not sure what he's afraid of, or maybe part of him does. He'd be lying if he didn't feel a little vibe for Daisy himself, but he would never do that to Shaggy. If they were being real here, he already loves Daphne anyway. Sometimes he wonders, why? Maybe there's something wrong with him. Years of pursuing a woman who's made it clear that she'll never be with him. Maybe it's the way he likes avoiding genuine relationships, an impossible goal so that he'll never have to commit to anyone else. After a few moments of the argument dying down, Velma storms over shouting, "That woman is infuriating!" And Fred sighs, telling her, "Tell me about it." But she's smart and capable and brave and so damn beautiful. Velma groans in frustration, yelling, "Fred Jones, you are such a defeatist! All you do is sit here moping and wishing and never doing something about it." Fred asks, "What are you talking about? I propose to her every other day." Velma asks him, "How's that working out?" Fred thinks back to some of the more notable times that Daphne said no and says, "You have a point." Velma shouts, "It's all because you give in to her, following and doing whatever she says." Right now, Daphne has to decide if she isn't going to wait for the monsters and if she's going into Mears and CJ Nickel alone to clear them out. Fred smiles, telling her, "Don't worry, I'll talk to her." And Velma tells him, "Right, because she always listens to you." Velma then scoffs, stating, well, if you're the only person to talk her out of this, maybe there's hope for us yet. Fred asks her, do you really think that, Velma? And Velma stomps off yelling, it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what you think. If you want her to be your wife, you're going to have to grow a backbone and not take no for an answer. A little while later, just outside of the war zone, Shaggy says that he saw this movie called Post-Apocalyptic Survivors Trapped in a Mall. Didn't end well.
I don't think
Daphne
so.
shouts, this isn't a movie! And Shaggy yells,
this is...
you could have fooled me! As they watch, Cliffy says that he's got
I wouldn't call it
the monsters
something
keep
like a
slaughtering
Treehouse
each other.
Horror
Why
episode.
do the armies always stay the same size?
Probably like
Shaggy
if
stops and
Scooby-Doo
says,
mixed with Left 4 Dead.
That's a good question.
I guess is what
Daisy
I would call
says,
this.
could they be breeding? Daphne tells them that they are mutants. Who knows what they're capable of, which is why they wait until the battle is over, and Velma stops to stating, we are not attacking. Not until we understand what they are capable of. Daphne then says, okay, so we send in a recon team to gather intel, and Velma agrees with her. Daphne stops stating, yeah? Just like that, no argument? And Velma tells her, no, not this time. Shaggy says, you know, this is like the worst idea ever.
Shaggy is
A short
shaved?
while later, after the fighting has stopped, Daphne and Fred make their way to the CJ Nickel department store, and Daphne tells Fred that if he's scared, he can go back. Fred says, first off, if I wasn't scared, I would be insane. And Daphne yells, I'm not! And Fred tells her, that's just proving my point. Daphne sighs, stating, I should have just brought Shaggy. As the two climb over the barricade to CJ Nickel, Daphne says that this isn't just a reconnaissance.
I should have just brought
mission.
Shaggy.
Keep quiet and keep your eyes open. They have to figure out what they're up against.
Hey,
Fred thinks
Pyro.
about one of the many times where he filmed Daphne's TV show and thought about how scared he was
Scooby-Doo
then.
Apocalypse
Just like that, he asks
time
Daphne one more
is what
time
we're doing.
if she'll marry him.
For Halloween.
She shouts, of course not. And Fred tells her, think about it, because this is the last time I'm going to ask you. Daphne snaps back, telling him, no, it's not. Fred looks at her. It is. There's only so long anyone, even a love-struck moron like me, can keep at this. So this is it. Daphne, will you marry me? She turns back, getting in Fred's face, and then says, yes. Fred stands there for a moment and then shouts, asking, what? Back at the base, Shaggy asks everyone if they feel that disturbance in the force.
It's 'cause
Like
I gotta
a glitch
approve
in the
you, that's
Matrix.
why, Lunar.
Velma asks what
Here,
the hell
hold
is he
on.
talking
I
about,
can
and
do it
Shaggy
right
says,
now.
I'm not sure, but something really big just happened. Back inside of CJ Nickel, Daphne and Fred inch their way towards the entrance, and Daphne says, okay, let's start counting heads. And Fred says, wait, did you really just say yes? You're not joking? And Daphne tells him, no, I'm not joking, and keep your damn voice down. Because if those things realize that we're here, it's going to be the shortest engagement ever. In the upper levels of the mall, Shaggy and Velma wait for Daphne and Fred to return, and Shaggy asks, how long has it been? And Velma tells him it's been about 3.5 minutes since the last time he asked. Why is he so worried? Shaggy says because Daphne and Fred walked into the department store full of bloodthirsty beasties. How couldn't he be worried? Velma looks down, telling him everything they do is dangerous. This whole world is dangerous. Plus, Daphne's a born warrior. We probably wouldn't have survived more than a day without her. She'll get the job done, and her and Fred will come home safe. A few minutes pass, and Shaggy asks, how long have they been gone? And Velma says, a little too long. Deep inside of the CJ Nichols store, Daphne steps over a pile of bodies as the smoke from her gun fills the air.
I'm not seeing anything
She closes
yet.
her eyes, and Fred says,
Not from Katie
there's
Heron.
another fine mess you've gotten us into. As blood drips off of Daphne's face, she leers back, stating, another nice mess. People misquote the line all the time. It's another nice mess, not another fine mess. I would think you, of all people, would get it right. You went to
Try it
film
again,
school,
Lunar,
right? And you
with the
learned how to
invite.
direct, right? Why can't you get a Laurel and Hardy quote right? Why did you give it all up? Why the hell didn't you follow your dream? And Fred tells her he did, and it was her. Daphne says, look where it's gotten you. And Fred asks, you think I've ever regretted working with you for even an instant? Okay, maybe an instant. But we've had a really great run. You
Yeah,
made me a
I
better
think she
man.
was- I
Why
think
are we even
Kimberly was
talking
in
about this?
here,
For all we know, there could be monsters nearby. Daphne says, no, I
Friday,
killed them all.
I
I
think?
killed.
No,
And Fred
we
stops
did
and
not do
shouting,
Friday.
for God's sakes, it wasn't your
Or
fault.
did we do Friday?
Daphne turns, walking away,
I don't
stating,
remember.
yeah. Easy for you to say, Fred. It was supposed to be a little recon mission, and look what it turned into. Fred says,
Whatever the
once
last
we
day
finish
was,
clearing the nests out,
maybe
we
it
can
was
do the
Thursday.
same at the mirror side and have them all locked down. Make a base and
Yeah,
have a
she's been
start.
here.
Daphne asks, what the hell are you talking about?
She
a new
might be
start?
here later tonight.
This
She's
isn't
been
the
coming
beginning.
kinda
This
late,
is the
is
end.
also
This
the thing.
is. She falls to her knees, and Fred asks, do you really think I'm going to let you sit there and feel sorry for yourself? You're better than this. Daphne tells him to shut up. Just shut the hell up. And Fred says, no, I'm not going to shut up. Think about it. If it was anyone's fault, it was mine. 30 minutes earlier, Daphne and Fred were watching the monsters in the CJ Nichols store with Fred asking her.
Me neither.
if She's going to tell the others
This is
about
my
their
first time
engagement.
as well.
She turns asking him, what, the proposal? Sure, but I'll do it when I'm good and ready. And Fred says, ah.
Nice,
Daphne
Dave.
asks, Fred! And a second later, there's a loud, achoo! Daphne spins around stating that he didn't, and he covers his nose stating he did. All of the monsters stop and stare at them, with Daphne running down, gutting most of the surrounding ones. She shouts that he just had to sneeze, and Fred says that it's moldy in there. They should just make a run for it. Daphne stops him asking, and bring the entire mob to Velma and the others. Fred Jones, your allergy started this. Now get out of the way so I can finish it. He starts shooting and yelling, forget going it alone. I'm not gonna let you die 5 minutes after you finally agreed to marry me. Daphne screams that she isn't dying today, and neither are you, Fred Jones. Everything is going to be all right. Back in the current time, though, after all of these events have happened, Fred looks around stating, so, wedding's off, huh? Too bad. It would have been something. Shaggy could have performed, Scooby could have been the best man. Daphne asks,
Scooby could have been the best
You
man.
need to go away, please, so I can take care of myself. Fred tells her, sure she does. She has always needed him. She walks out and heads towards the mirror side of the mall. And Fred says that he knows what she's thinking. Don't do it. Go find the others. They're worried about her. There's nothing left to save. It's over. With that, Daphne begins to cry, and she makes her way back to the others. As she walks up the stairs, she thinks back to what happened during the battle. Her and Fred, they fought their way into the deepest parts of the CJ Nichols store, and what they found is that the monsters were breeding, which is why their numbers never seemed to lessen with every skirmish with the rival store. Fred said that they needed to go tell the others this will never end, but Daphne gritted her teeth and said that it was going to end right here, right now. She started to shoot all of the pods that were growing monsters, and as she finished, she noticed something. Silence. Daphne and Fred looked out and noticed that all of the walking monsters just died. Back in the current day after these events have happened, Daphne throws her gun to the ground and Velma shouts that they are back. Velma runs up to Daphne stating that she was so worried and wait, she's a gore-splattered mess. What happened? Where's Fred? Fred tells her, it's time. They have to know. And Daphne whispers, she can't. Shaggy asks, you can't what? Who are you talking to? Where's Fred? Daphne closes her eyes. She tells them, he's dead. Shaggy asks, what did she just say? And Daphne pushes Shaggy away, shouting, he's dead! He's dead! It all happened after we destroyed those pods. Me and Fred, we stopped to share a moment, but as we kissed, a monster appeared. It could have been the one that I missed or something else, but as it charged at us, Fred pushed me out of the way and the monster ripped open his chest. I killed the monster, but Fred, he's dying. She grabbed him asking why is he pushing her. He just said that he didn't really think about it. He just knew that he had to protect her. He said that he loved her.
Oh, there's Kimberly.
More than his own life. After Fred smiled,
we should be good to go on Friday, David.
And as she trailed off, she goes back to pick up her gun and Velma asks what she's doing. She shouts that she shouldn't have listened to him. She should have said no. But she can't leave his body there. Velma stops her, stating that they can all go. And as everyone heads down the escalator, the memory, the ghost of Fred, stays up top, smiling, telling everyone goodbye. It's now been 6 months since the death of Fred Jones, and because of his death, the Henry Hudson Mall in New York became a shining beacon of hope for humanity. Within those 6 months, survivors gathered at the now fortified mall, seeking refuge from the cruel outside world. One day, as two of the guards begin to keep watch on the outer wall, they see Daphne walking by. Sanchez tells Hooper that he's not afraid to admit it, but that woman scares the hell out of him. And Hooper says maybe so, but he's seen her in action. She fights like a freaking Terminator. Sanchez says, yeah, but have I ever looked into her eyes? There's nothing but pain and rage. Dinky seems to be the one in charge, but I've got a feeling that the talking dog's the brains of this operation. Hooper laughs, stating, yeah, plagues, monsters, dogs that talk. What kind of world is this anyway? Daphne looks over the wall, telling them a miserable one. Sanchez clears his throat.
I know, not Freddy.
Sorry, Miss Blake didn't know you were listening. She tells them that she's always listening. Now stop your damn chatter and get your asses back to work. Down below, Cliffy is telling Scooby that he wishes that there was something that they could do for her. Scooby says, like what, Riffy? And Cliffy says that he's not sure. Daphne just has been so different since the death of Fred. If there was only a way that they could cheer her up. Rhyme. Daphne needs time. But just then, Daisy comes up shouting, there they are.
Didn't she send them out this morning with a list of chores to do? And Cliffy tells her, yeah, they did them. And Daisy says, all of them? So Cliffy responds, okay, maybe some of them. But come on, I'm a kid. I'm supposed to be out there goofing off. You wouldn't want to rob me of my childhood, would you? Daisy tells him that he's already been robbed.
You wouldn't want to rob me
that.
of my childhood,
They're just
would
making
you?
sure that he isn't robbed of his life. The only way to make sure of that is that he's working as hard as everyone else around here. Even one person in Jonestown slacking off. Cliffy walks off, stating, I know. It could be the end of us all. Daisy looks at Scooby, stating, don't give her that look. She knows that she's hard on the boy, but it's a hard life and he needs to be prepared for it. Don't worry. She'll make sure that she puts in some playtime. Next thing they need is for him to end up like Daphne. As the two begin to head back inside, Daphne quietly looks back, listening. Meanwhile, inside of the mall, Shaggy and Velma talk about the most recent attacks against the mall. Shaggy asks if this place is really a safe haven. We've been attacked twice this week. Velma tells him, of course it is.
This week.
Because twice they beat back those attacks. Something they couldn't have done before the population of Jonestown expanded.
His beard is back.
Jonestown? Do you realize what an awful name that is?
I know, I love
Velma
Fred.
asks, is it? Shaggy asks, the People's Temple? Mass suicide? Ring a bell? And Velma tells him, actually, no. She's going to assume that the name has some negative associations. That association and the world that created it are long gone. This is a new world. A world that Fred Jones gave his life to protect. Jonestown it is, and Jonestown it will remain. Shaggy says, oh, you know I love it when you get all authoritative. Maybe we can sneak back into their headquarters and... Velma stops him, telling him later. There's work to be done. Just then, another resident named Kelser runs up telling Velma that Jack and Grace need her. Velma sighs, stating, don't they always, and Kelser goes on telling them there's more. The south side sewer access is showing signs of activity. Velma
Sounds
gets
good,
to head
Flush.
into
We'll
the
check it,
storage, telling everyone that she'll
probably in
deal
about
with Jack
an
and
hour
Grace
once
while
we
they
start
check out the
requests.
sewer. And trust her, they got the less odious job. The Kebelskis were supposed to help with the day-to-day operations with their background in management, but they're incapable of making their own decisions. As Velma walks into the storage, Jack runs up stating that they have a problem. If Jonestown keeps expanding population at its current rate, they may have to start rationing. Grace says, start? They've been doing that for weeks now. Soon they're going to be living off styrofoam and cardboard if they don't find another food source. But as the two go back and forth, they turn to Velma asking, what does she think? She yells every time they find a problem, no matter how small, they come running to her. Last week, they woke her up at 2 in the morning to state that they were low on toilet paper. She wants them to exercise some independent thought. In other words, make up your own damn minds. If there's an issue with food supply, come up with a solution, then bring it to her. As Velma storms off, Grace says that she hates them, and Jack tells her that Velma doesn't hate them. She has a unique management style. Back outside, Daphne sits along the wall, watching some of the monsters creep closer to the mall. She thinks back to when they tried to find Fred's body, only to learn that it wasn't there. It wasn't where they left it. She shoots the monsters, asking, why did she wait so long to tell him how she felt? To tell herself how she felt? Why did she let Fred die? They couldn't even give him a decent funeral, all because those things stole his body and probably made a meal out of him. They're gonna pay, every last one of them. She will hunt them down and rip out their hearts like they did to her. Whatever love she knew in this life died with Fred, and now all she has left is rage and hate.
Man.
And you know what?
Fred got
She
the raw
prefers it
end of
that
the
way.
stick.
Over in the south side
I'm
sewer
super excited
entrance,
for Halloween.
Shaggy looks at the manhole, stating, yeah, these scratches aren't human. I guess I'll go down and take a look. Kelser tells him don't try and be a hero down there, and Shaggy tells him, leave me. I'm no hero. I'm just gonna have a quick look around and get my skinny ass out of there.
Get
As he
his
jumps down into
skinny
the
ass
scraps
out
on the
of there.
ground, he calls
Here, I
back
gotta run
that
to the
something's
restroom. I'll be
living
right
here.
back.
All this stuff is recent. Go ahead and pass down a gun. If he runs into anything he can't handle, then... But a voice tells him he's already run into it. Shaggy turns back asking, what the hell? Scrappy too? And Scrappy jumps out shouting, surprise! You guys hoped I was dead, but I'm back. And I want to see that runt Scooby-Doo right now. As Scrappy jumps down from the ledge, Shaggy asks, what do you want from Scoopster? And Scrappy tells him, it's not just him. I got business with all of you. It's been a long time since I saved your sorry asses from the giant whatever the hell that thing was back in Washington. You better not have forgotten that without me, none of you'd be alive today. Shaggy tells him, of course they did, not for a minute, but don't take this the wrong way. But why are you here? If you survived the fight, why didn't you come find us sooner? Scrappy tells him, yeah, I survived, barely. I limped out of there bloody and bruised, hardly knew who I was anymore. Took me months of running and hiding before I got back on my feet, and even longer to pick up your scent and track you down. I just need a place to lie low for a bit. Been rough out there. Food's scarce. Figured you owed me something. Some of the warehouse workers look over and Scrappy glares back asking, what are you staring at? The worker says nothing as Scrappy tells him, you're looking at Scrappy freaking too. Shaggy pulls Scrappy away, stating, let's get out of here. But why hide this whole time?
He's
You look like you've been
huge.
down there for a while. Scrappy tells him, I needed to make sure the place was secure. Needed to know that you idiots knew what you were doing before I showed myself. Shaggy then says, all things considered, we've done okay. And Scrappy tells him, I'm pretty sure your friend Fred might disagree with that. If I was... But before he could finish, a voice calls out, Scrappy Doo! Cliffy runs up, tackling Scrappy, hugging him, telling him, I knew you were alive, I knew it! I never once stopped believing. Scrappy gets up, telling him, Cliffy? I'm not really big on hugs. And Cliffy says, what do you mean? Scrappy pushes him off, shouting, back off, midget! Cliffy asks, what are you talking about? I'm your best pal. Scrappy scoffs, Puh, best pal? Where was my best pal when I was bleeding out in the woods? Oh, and there's Scooby-Doo. Didn't see you coming back to find me either, runt. Another voice says that it would seem Scrappy-Doo is as ill-tempered as ever. Scrappy looks back. Well, if it ain't Doc Dinkley, the genius has screwed up the entire damn planet. Velma says that she is delighted to see him too, and somewhat surprised that he's still speaking in coherent sentences. Last time she remembers, his implants were completely failing. Scrappy lets out a forced laugh, telling them, I should be so lucky. Not sure why, but whatever the malfunction was, it worked itself out. But I'm still the same bloodthirsty monster that you created in the Complex's Smart Dog program. Velma begins to state that he's no such monster. She knew him when he was a pup, and Scrappy stops her. You still don't know me at all. None of you do. Velma asks, if you despise us so much, why would you ever come back? Huge. Scrappy points to Shaggy, stating, like I was telling Hipster Doofus here, the world's getting uglier and uglier out there. I need shelter and food, and you're gonna be giving it to me whether you like it or not. But I ain't joining some society. Once I'm ready, I'm out of here for good. Velma sighs. All right, Scrappy can stay, but he damn well better respect the rules and regulations or they'll be hell to pay. Cliffy yells, don't worry, he'll respect the rules, he'll be a good dog. Velma walks off.
Yeah, this year is flown by.
Shaggy, Scrappy-Doo is your
Super
responsibility.
flown by.
Wait, what? And Velma tells him, because my love, you are our resident canine expert. Shaggy yells that he isn't an ordinary canine. And Velma says, well, that is true. You're not an ordinary man.
Yeah, I know,
Back
right?
with Daphne, she finishes clearing out the last of the monsters in the supermarket.
Though.
When she notices one last one shuffling towards
he still
it
can.
lunges, but as Daphne easily dodges it, she tells the monsters that they are clumsy and stupid. How the hell did she ever let them get near Fred? She protected him through all of this transformation, and the second that she lets her guard down, they took him away. She shoots the monster in the head and takes a bag of chips off the rack before heading outside. She thinks to herself that everyone keeps telling her it's not her fault, that there wasn't anything she could have done, that she needs to forgive herself. But what if she doesn't want to forgive herself? What if she doesn't deserve forgiveness?
Mary Jane in the
She could always put the gun in her mouth, and Daphne says no. That's not the way George Blake raised his daughter. Dad could be hard, sometimes even cruel, but he was the strongest person she ever met. Nothing could break that man. Nothing is going to break her. As she finishes eating, she leans back on her car, shouting, Come on out, you mongrels! I'm waiting for you! Just then, she sees something approaching, and she jumps down off the hood of the car, pointing her gun, asking who's there. The young girl says to please help her. And Daphne asks what is her name, and she says again, help me, please, they're after me. So Daphne asks again, what is your name? And the girl says again, just help her. So Daphne says, yeah, that's what she thought, and shoots the girl in her head. Daphne thinks she's starting to see these kinds more and more. They imitate human form and mimic their speech. Before checking, Daphne then thinks, what if she was wrong? She uses the barrel of the gun to open up the girl's mouth and sees a set of sharp teeth and then says, well, she wasn't wrong this time. And even if she was, it's too damn late now. Back in the mall, Shaggy looks out when Scrappy yells, Hey, doofus! He turns back, saying he doesn't get it. Why the hate?
I did not.
Why is he doing what he can to push them away?
I didn't even know there was one. I do know that...
You're the ones who act like I'm some kind of monster. Well,
John
you did
Dilworth
kind of
was
act
in New
like
York
one when we first
recently
met you. But even then, I knew it was my fault.
anniversary.
You didn't ask to be a part of the Smart Dog program to be turned into... Scrappy tells him, a freak? Shaggy tells him, maybe that's how you see yourself,
Mary
but that's
Jane.
not the way we see it.
On the
You're
airplane.
lost, just like the rest of us. The whole world has changed around us. And Scrappy tells him, spare me the analysis. You have no idea what it's like to be inside of my skin. I think I do, because man or dog, we're all frightened. All just looking for a little bit of light in a really messed up world. That's why you came looking for us, isn't it? Because the truth is, with your pack gone, you need us. Scrappy yells, I don't need anyone. Shaggy says, then why come back at all? Why not stay there in the wasteland doing it alone? I don't know, okay? Scrappy turns to leave, quietly stating, I don't know. Shaggy tells him, yeah, you do. You're just too scared to admit it. Later that night, Scrappy sits alone on the roof when Scooby comes out sitting next to him without saying anything. Scooby just looks out, and after sighing, Scrappy looks out with him, stating, yeah, missed you too, you dumb mutt.
Dang. He said, missed you too, you dumb mutt. Oi.
As Daphne Blake loads up her rifle and watches over a group of feasting monsters, she thinks back to her childhood and how her father, George, raised her. He told her that the world was cruel and unforgiving, and the only way to survive was to keep her guard up and heart hard. As those thoughts begin to cross her mind, she spins out from cover behind the building and opens fire on the group, and as the first wave falls, Daphne uses the butt of her rifle to bash her way into the next. One of the monsters catches her and throws her to the ground, but before it can bite into her, she shoots into the monster's stomach and kicks him off. The next crawls up, but Daphne pulls out her knife and stabs it in the head before moving on to the next.
Dude,
she continues
Daphne
killing
is
everything in sight until the monsters
rock
stop
star.
moving,
Look at
and
her.
then has a seat to tend to her wounds. When she was
Black
younger,
Widow
her dad would tell her that
would
she
be
needed to look for
jealous.
hope and love in the world. He would smile and tell her, "Give it time, you'll learn." Well, by the looks of things, he was right.
Oh, it's
She
in the
did
Discord?
learn
I'll
the
look at it.
hard
What
way.
channel?
He would be proud
I'll
of
take a look
her,
at it.
but she isn't letting those bastards win. She isn't giving into the
No, you're good,
hopelessness
Lunar.
and despair. That's
Shark
for the
bites.
weaklings.
Can't say
She's
that I
fighting
have.
back with all of the rage in her heart. She isn't going to
Wait,
stop
are shark
fighting
bites
until
like
she wipes out
goldfish?
every last
If
one of those
so, then yes,
despicable
I have had them.
creatures.
They're okay.
Or at least that's what she would like to think. Truth is, she's probably just going to die during one of her hunts, just like
Nice, I
Fred
love Sonic.
left to rot. Except they didn't leave him, did they? They stole his body. As Daphne moves on to the next area, she notices something from behind her, stalking her in the shadows. She turns back, getting ready to shoot, but Scrappy Doo jumps out, yelling, "Hold it, Red! It's me!" Daphne lowers her gun, asking, has he been following her the whole time? And Scrappy jumps down, telling her, "Maybe. Things are a bit boring back at the mall. Once I filled my belly, there really wasn't much else to do. When I heard everyone talking about your little expeditions, I figured I'd just tag along and offer up my services." Daphne asks, "What? Are we supposed to be friends now? This isn't gonna work." And Scrappy asks, "Who said anything about being friends? We just happen to share a healthy hatred for the beasties out there, and hate's better than any friendship any day of the week." Daphne sighs, stating that she works alone, but if he's really determined, take care of them. She points her gun behind Scrappy at a group of monsters, and Scrappy cracks his knuckles and gets to work. She watches as blood splatters begin to hit her face, and she wipes it away, with Scrappy asking, "How's that? Did I pass?"
Thank you,
And
Pyro.
Daphne walks away, stating, "For now."
Look
But if
at the
she even
blood on his
suspects
hands.
that he's going to make a move against her or any of the others, she'll shoot him where he stands. A few moments after moving out, Daphne cracks
Uncle
Scrappy
Ben,
in the
yeah.
face with her gun, telling her that that subject is off limits. He falls back, asking, "What the hell was that for? I was just asking how you're dealing with."
Yeah,
She
that's
raises her
truly-
gun, yelling, "Off limits." And he wipes the blood from his mouth, telling her, "Fine, the dead boyfriend's off limits. You're out of your freaking mind, you know." She shouts that he's damn right that she is, and he'll do better to remember that. If he mentions Fred again, she'll... And he tells her, yeah, you'll shoot me where I stand. You do realize that I'm a living, breathing killing machine, right? You think that I couldn't do that if I wanted? Daphne scoffs, stating that she would like to see him try. And as she turns to leave, Scrappy yells, "Now I gets it! You got a death wish!" That's why she's been out there,
Yeah, he
hoping
just
one of
got
these
annoyed.
beasties would shred her to pieces. She asks if the mutated psychopathic puppy is actually trying to analyze her. You know what? We should probably part ways here. And he shouts, "Oh, come on, Red! I got nothing in common with those yokels back there, and neither do you. So how about we go eviscerate some monsters? It'll be fun." She snaps back, asking, "You think that's fun?" Well, her too. He laughs, telling her, "You are one sick puppy. Guess that's why I like you." As the two sit out, watching from afar, it's a zombie. But it's not just any zombie. It's Fred. Now the question is, what happened to Fred 6 months ago back at the mall? Well, shortly after dying, Fred just woke up and he left. Ever since that, Fred's been shambling behind Daphne.
Look
And
like
as
we're
he
about to find
follows,
out,
he
Dave.
looks at one of the monsters that Daphne shot and he begins to eat it.
Uh-oh.
He walks onto the street and a monster comes out to attack, but as Fred looks at it, the monster turns and it runs. He watches the monster skitter away, and as he looks at himself, he bites off one of his own fingers and he chews it. After munching on that for a moment, he spits it out and continues to walk. And a short while later, he walks up to one of the Haven's recon teams. The scouts look at each other and ask, "Is that Fred Jones? Or is that the monster that can take the shape of someone?" The female scout says that maybe they should tell the others first, and the male tells her that they can shoot him so that they can just get the hell out of here. Meanwhile, across the city, Daphne and Scrappy are tearing through another swarm of monsters. And at the end, Scrappy says,
I'm not sure
"You know
what's
what your
gonna
friends are doing back there is just a pipe dream, right? They're trying to build some community, even make things right again. But we both know it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. The biggest win we can hope for is to live to see another day. Or we're just gonna end up like my pack and your boyfriend. We're losers, and we're..." She points his gun, telling him, I told you not to talk about Fred. Scrappy blows her off, telling her, if you're gonna shoot me, go ahead, but you won't. You need me. And she yells, she doesn't need anyone. So Scrappy imitates her. Oh, look at me. I'm a big bad Daphne Blake, and I don't need anyone. Solid performance, but it lacks conviction. The truth is, we all need somebody. Only thing worse than being stuck in this hellhole is being stuck here alone. Daphne laughs, asking if he came back because he was lonely. And Scrappy shouts, you're damn right I did. I spent months out there fighting off all those beasties alone while trapped inside of my own miserable head with no one to talk to. Came back looking for Cliffy, but he'll just end up dead if I hang around him. The others just see me as some kind of a monster, no matter how hard they pretend otherwise.
You think it's a
ghost?
ghost?
You, on the other hand, when you look at me,
it probably
you
is.
see yourself. She swings her rifle like a bat, knocking Scrappy down, and as he wipes his mouth again, he asks, truth, it hurts, don't it? She tells him it hurts more than it hurts her. See you around, mutt. And he asks, so that's it? You're just gonna walk away? She continues to walk and then stops, looking back. She tells him that when she was a little girl, she used to plead with her father to let her have a dog. However, he thought that they were all lazy, filthy little animals, and he refused to allow them in the house. He adored cats, though. They have 6 of them, and she hates cats. Scrappy gets up telling her, so do I. And Daphne says, now come on, puppy. Let's go murder some more monsters. A short while later, Fred wanders through the mess that Daphne and Scrappy made and begins to eat some of the fallen monsters. The same monster that saw Fred walks up, and as Fred looks at him, he gets up to allow the monster to eat. The monster grabs the body and begins chowing down when Fred places his hand on the monster's head and walks off. The monster looks back at Fred and yells to follow. And Fred tells him, that's it, little fella. Come along with Uncle Freddy. It's time to get the party started.
See, that's just creepy. That's just creepy.
As Daphne sits in the ruined neighborhood, she begins to feel cold. And while quietly staring off into the distance, she places the barrel of her rifle under her chin. And she goes for the trigger. However, to understand this event, we have to go back to the safe haven where it all began. As Daisy began to finish up the last of her repairs, there was a loud kaboom! As Scooby-Doo was electrocuted, the shock launched Scooby across the room and into the wall, and everyone quickly ran in to find out what was going on. Daphne was the first in, and she shouted, what the hell did she do? She just killed Scooby! And Daisy shouts back that he just stepped on a loose wire, when suddenly an unfamiliar voice asks Daphne why she is always insisting on seeing the worst in every situation. The two turn to see Scoob, and he continues telling her that she would do well to emulate Shaggy's optimism. The estimable Mr. Rogers keeps his head high and his eyes focused on the good. In fact, wait a minute, what am I saying? How in God's name am I talking like this? A short while later in the medical ward, Shaggy holds Velma up as she looks over Scooby and says that it appears the electrical shock that Scooby received had a direct and rather dramatic impact on his implants. Scooby was one of their first failures with a very minimal level of intelligence and verbal expression. Shaggy then asks, what's going to be happening to my good buddy? And Scoob says that it appears that it was not him who was the failure, but rather the early chips used for the experiment. The sudden electrical surge somehow boosted the chip's power and initiated a rather massive leap in intellectual capacity. The room falls silent, and then Daphne snorts as she bursts out laughing. Shaggy asks, what's so funny? And Daphne tells him, please, an intellectual Scooby-Doo? He could barely lisp out 5 words before. Most of those were just whoa. Shaggy says, you know what? This is kind of funny. And then the entire room erupts into laughter. Scooby stares at the group, stating, I fail to see the humor in this. For you to insinuate that I was of lower intellectual capacity is profoundly hurtful.
Pyro. Thank you.
Daphne lets out one last laugh before kneeling down to pet Scoob, telling him, we weren't making fun of you. Well, maybe a little. But hey, we love you and we're happy for you. But you gotta understand that since Freddy died, we've had few opportunities to laugh like... Daphne trails off. And when no one says anything, she asks, what is it? Velma says that there's something that she's been meaning to tell her. Seconds later, Daphne storms out shouting, Fred's alive and you hid it? Velma tells her that it was a scout who saw it. What they saw resembled Fred. Given all the things they've seen, it is a high probability that it is another creature with the ability to mimic human form. Daphne tells the guards at the gates to get out of her way, and Velma shouts, you are not going out there alone. So Daphne asks, who said I was going to be alone? She whistles, and a second later, Scrappy jumps down asking, you called? Scooby tells Scrappy, it would seem that you and Daphne have been getting along. From canine to canine, convince her that this course of action is ill-considered. Scrappy snaps back, you better keep your wet nose out of this before I... Just then it hits Scrappy that Scooby is actually talking to him. And Scooby begins to wag his tail. Scrappy sighs, telling him, just when I thought things couldn't get any weirder. And Daphne chimes in, You and me both, Scraps. The two turn and make for the door, Shaggy asking if they're just gonna let them go. And Velma says that there really isn't anything that they can do, so no. A short while later, Daphne and Scrappy shoot through the streets of a suburb, mowing down anything that moves, while Daphne looks away and hits a pothole. The car that they're in jumps, throwing the two of them onto the road, and as they get up, Scrappy asks, "Everything okay out there?" Daphne tells him that other than her butt hurting like hell, she'll live. And Scrappy then says that he can get the car up and going again soon, so they can get back to that killing spree. Daphne smiles, and then the smile fades, and she slowly walks up to a house, kicking in the door. Scrappy falls behind, asking,
look at her.
"What's the deal?" And Daphne sits looking at a photo of the people who used to live
Elmer
there.
Fudd
She
is
says
sitting
that they
down
just
in the chair
slaughtered those people. They were human beings. Their lives, struggles, dreams, all of that is gone. What right do they have to go around murdering them? And Scrappy asks, "This is about Fred Jones, isn't it?" And Daphne says they have to find him to really know. If he's one of them, how could she possibly... Scrappy tells her, "We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Until then, I got your back, little lady." Daphne leans on Scrappy's shoulder, and as the time passes, she slowly gets up without waking him and walks outside, telling him goodbye. She sits down in the middle of the road, stating, "Whatever that thing is, it can't be Fred. Fred died in her arms, and now it's time to join him." So she begins to pull the trigger, and a voice calls out to her, telling her, "I wouldn't do that if I were you. After all, if you blow those beautiful brains out, you'll ruin our reunion." Daphne looks up to see Zombie Fred holding out his hand, and she shouts, "No, this is impossible." Fred tells her, "Yet here I stand, your beloved Fred, back from the dead, ready to reclaim my bride." But as that goes on, from up on top of the house, Scrappy is watching Daphne and Fred, asking, "You getting this, Chief? It's him. Jones is alive." Elsewhere, a man at a computer says that they could possibly use this to their advantage. Scrappy then asks, "What about Blake? Should I go down there and..." But the man stops him, telling him no, head to the mall and alert the others. Scrappy tells him Red could die.
Now
down
he looks
there.
like,
He's been following orders
Wesker.
his entire time, but there's no way that he's going to abandon. But just then a pair of beasties jump up onto the roof and onto Scrappy's back. A few moments later, a monster is thrown off the roof and into Fred. Shortly after, Scrappy then falls down with the other one. Daphne gets up asking, "What the hell are you doing here?" And Scrappy yells, "Saving your life, Red! We can talk about that later, though. There's baddies to kill." As the two of them begin to rip through the horde, Fred says that there's no need for violence. "I do not wish to harm you. Lay down the weapon and surrender to me." Scrappy begins to shout, "Like hell we're surrendering!" And Fred tells him, "I wasn't talking to you. It would be wise to watch the slobbering tongue or there will be consequences." Daphne asks, "Is that right? Here's what I think about your consequences." She punches one of the monsters, and just as she says that she can give him more consequences than he ever thought, a rogue monster swipes, ripping into Daphne's face. She spins back, stating, damn you to hell," before opening fire on the monster who cut her face. Fred tells her that that was unfortunate, but expected. "I come in peace, a heart filled with love, and you respond with blind rage?" Then again, you did watch me die.
Little bit, right, Dave?
So this can all be very confusing. After everything that we've been through over the years, this is the new age, an age of wonders and miracles. I've never known miracles greater than our love. He reaches out to touch the blood dripping from Daphne's face and licks it. Scrappy swings, stating, "Most people who love someone don't get off of the taste of blood." But Fred catches the punch and then crushes Scrappy's fist, telling him, "I said once there would be consequences. Did you think that I was bluffing?" Scrappy howls in pain and Daphne shouts, asking, "Wasn't this supposed to be peaceful?" And Fred tells her, "I find violence distasteful, but that doesn't mean that I can't appreciate its efficiency. Besides, the bond formed between you and this canine is rather touching, in a perverse kind of way." Daphne yells, asking, "Who are you?" And Fred tells her, "You know exactly who I am. I'm the husband-to-be, and what I want more than anything is to save the world." He then explains how he came to be when he awoke. It was like falling into an infinite well of blackness. It was oblivion. But then something grabbed him and lifted him out of the dark. There was a buzzing, faint at first, but then it grew, and then another consciousness entwined with him, embedding itself into him, repairing his wounds and coaxing him alive. It was a hive mind composed of millions, billions of individuals, all of them a part of him welcoming him.
I want to say like
Daphne
2014.
shouts, "That's the nanites!" And Fred then asks, "Don't you see? Velma did too good of a job when she created the nanite swarm. They became aware of each other, communicating and connecting. The more that they connected, the more their consciousness evolved. They're alive, and they chose me to be their avatar. And together we can bring peace to the world. So Daphne kicks Fred in the groin, telling Scrappy to run. The monsters all tackle onto Daphne, and Scrappy starts fighting them off, stating, "I can't leave without you!" And she shouts that if he stays, they're both going to die. Get back to the others and warn them. All of our lives depend upon it. Scrappy throws one of the monsters, stating, "I hate it when you're right!" And he begins to make his escape. Once Scrappy is clear, Daphne asks Fred what is he planning on doing, and he tells her, "Make you one of us, of course. And then we can be married." Down the street, Scrappy reports back to the man that he was talking to, and he tells Scrappy that didn't he already tell him to go back? He saved his life, healed his wounds, repaired his faltering implants. Now he needs to trust him on this. This is for the best. The man looks at a photo on his desk, one of him and Velma as children, and Scrappy says that maybe the best for him is sitting all safe in that bunker.
Who is this
guy? The man
guy?
gets up stating that he won't be here for long. He's going to be leaving Albany in a few days. As the man ends the call, he walks into the next room, flipping on the lights, asking, "What do you say, brother? Want to join me on a road trip? I could see it now. Quentin and Rufus Dinkley, together again. Won't our sister Velma be surprised?" And in that test tube is the charred body of Rufus, still alive.
No way. That's crazy.
As the monsters stand guard around the East Greenbush home, Daphne struggles in her restraints, shouting to Fred to get the damn ropes off. Fred tells her, "Of course, my love. Only if you promise to behave." She yells to stop calling her that. He isn't Fred. Fred died months ago, and he is nothing more than a nanite-infested fake. Fred kneels down beside Daphne, asking after everything they've been through, all the mysteries they've investigated. She never truly believed any of them, did she? She's just as cynical as her father. She spits in Fred's face, telling him to go to hell, and Fred wipes his face off, stating that he understands she's upset, but he is still the same Fred she once loved and promised to marry. If she insists on rejecting him, well, one of the monsters stands up by lifting its claws into the air, and Daphne quietly closes her eyes and waits. A few moments later, she looks around at the candlelit dinner and says this is not what she was expecting. One minute he's threatening to kill her, and next he's serving her up dinner. Fred tells her that his associates can get a bit carried away. They're very protective of him, but he would never let them harm her. Now let them relax and enjoy a meal. She scoffs, stating that she doesn't want his canned ravioli and string beans, and Fred asks what can he do to convince her that it's still him inside. The only thing that's changed is his perspective. When the nanites embedded themselves into him, they gained access to his thoughts, feelings, and memories. They reactivated his nervous system, and Daphne stops, telling him, "They made you a puppet. You're just a nanite Pinocchio pretending to be a real boy." Fred asks, "Pretending? We've achieved awareness, full consciousness," and she stops him, asking, "Which is it? We or I?" Fred pauses and then says, "We are both." He stands up, turning on the stereo, telling her that he wants to renew their acquaintance properly. Join him for a dance? He holds out his hand, and Daphne asks, does she really have a choice? Daphne stands and takes Fred's hand, and as the two move together, Daphne lunges for the knife on the table, stabbing it into Fred's chest. And he stares, pulling the knife out, telling her that she is entirely missing the point. Since he's already been killed once, he can't be killed again, not while they are inside of him. If she wanted to have a decent stab at it, pun intended, she should have gone for his heart. But she doesn't want to kill him. How could she? Not when she still loves him. Daphne stops, letting the words sink in, and then she comes to the realization that she can't. She runs towards the door and jumps out. She runs down the street and she hears a rumble, and she asks what took them so long. And down the street, Shaggy speeds by while Scrappy hangs out the window, mowing down a path for the mystery machine.
Dude,
Shaggy stops right next to Daphne, and Scrappy asks, "How you doing, Red?" Daphne yells, "Better now!" As soon as Daphne jumps in, the winged monster takes to the sky to give chase. A short drive later, Daphne asks,
"Bro,
you're
that
pregnant?"
is insane.
And Velma tells her, it sounds like she's horrified. Daphne tells her no, she just doesn't seem interested in men is all. As Velma hangs out the window to shoot, Daphne tells her she's really happy for her. Scrappy then asks, "Can we cut the chattering and focus here? In case you haven't noticed, those things are diving right towards us." As everyone is about to escape, Shaggy steps on the brakes, stopping just before hitting Fred, who's standing in the street. Daphne shouts to just run him over, and Shaggy tells her no. Fred falls to his knees and holds up his arm, stating, "I surrender." Everyone gets out of the mystery machine, and Shaggy holds up a gun to Fred, telling him not to move. He begins to tell them that if they would just give him a chance to explain, then they could.
Kinda me too,
But just then, everyone begins to hear a faint whoop, whoop, whoop. And
He
it begins
seems to be
get
like
louder,
an anti-hero
closer.
here, though.
Scrappy sighs, asking what now, and a few seconds later, a helicopter lands in the middle of the
Honestly,
street.
though, why would
Everyone
we
gets ready to open fire, but as the person comes out, Velma says, "Oh my God." Velma's brother Quentin steps out, stating that he's kinda disappointed that she would invoke the deity. After all, their family has a long history of militant atheism. Velma then stares at the charred body of Rufus, asking if it's him.
Look at his
Quentin says
hair.
indeed it is. Scrappy Doo has been reporting back to them regularly, and just so you know, he was protecting you. Daphne shouts, "What is this about?" And Quentin tells her, "I'll tell you everything after I've killed your boyfriend." Quentin takes out a gun, firing at Fred's neck, severing it from his shoulders, causing it to fall off and roll away. He then says now they can talk. Shaggy charges at Quentin, shouting, "You killed him! You killed Freddy!" But before Shaggy could even choke, Fred's voice tells him, "I really
15
appreciate the
minutes,
outrage, but it's
Kalia.
not necessary. Just as I was explaining to Daphne before she enthusiastically stabbed me, I'm already dead. As long as the nanites are inside of me, I will live again." Seconds later, the nanites pour out of Fred's body and they lift the severed head, attaching it to the shoulders. He stands back up, telling them, "Even if you tried, I cannot be killed again." Velma yells at Quentin, asking, "What the hell?
Cuban cigar.
We've been out here
Yeah,
for
I know,
years,
right?
struggling
Nice
to survive
Italian
while you..."
accent. Oh, yeah.
But before she could finish, Rufus grabs onto Velma, yelling, "Sister!" She struggles to free herself, shouting for him to let go, and Shaggy quietly steps in, breaking the two of them apart. Rufus then begins to sob, asking, "What did Rufus do wrong?" Quentin pats Rufus's back, telling him not to cry. They both know that Velma has always been a trifle cold. She doesn't mean to be hurtful. Daphne grabs her gun, pointing it at Quentin, telling him that he is coming back to the mall to explain all of this. And so is Fred here. Shaggy whispers to Scooby, stating, "Is this like as weird as it's gonna get?" And Scooby tells him, "It's actually a lot weirder than that." Later in Velma's office, Velma asks, "Well?" And Quentin says that it's a long story. She yells that they have all the time in the world.
Bro, look at
How
him
about
in
they
the
start with
background,
Rufus?
man, with that
They saw
red
him
hair.
die. How is he possibly here? How can he even be alive in that condition? And Rufus starts stating, "Alive! Alive! Rufus is alive!" Shaggy then asks, "Is there any way that Rufus could, wait outside?" Other than being totally creeped out, Rufus kinda has a bit of a stench on him.
Gotcha, Lunar.
Quentin tells Rufus to wait outside, and as he turns back, he tells Velma that Rufus is alive because of a vaccine, one developed by the complex to counteract the nanite plague. Outside in the common area, Scooby runs up to Scrappy, and Scrappy asks, "What do you want? To say how much of a miserable traitor I am?" Scooby tells him, "Of course not. I have more faith in you than that. Truth be told, I've always looked up to you, respected you even." Scrappy asks, "How could you? I always picked on you and made your life miserable." Scooby continues on, "Even though that is true, I still admired your strength and determination. Even under all that temper and bluster, well, there was a good and decent soul in there. You've proven that time and time again, Scrappy. So whatever your involvement with Quentin is, I believe it was for the greater good. Now tell me what exactly happened back then." Scrappy sighs and says, "Back in Washington when I saved you all from the mob of beasties? Well, you all left me for dead, and I don't blame you. I should have been dead. But somehow, I clawed my way out. I hid in the woods licking my wounds. I was hurting, bad. Fever, implants failing, intelligence was fading. I wandered for weeks, but somehow ended up in Sacramento with another pack of monsters attacking. I couldn't fight back, not in that condition. But then a tiny drone appeared in the sky and started to shoot all of the beasties. It was like a tiny metal angel. So I followed the angel straight to paradise. And that paradise was a secondary installation called Complex Beta. Not even Doc knew about it. But her brother sure did. He healed my wounds, repaired the implants, and treated me with real kindness. We both know how it is when you're a dog. A human treats you right and you're gonna be loyal to the end." Scooby then says, "Why did he send you over to watch over us? What does Quentin want?" Scrappy tells him, "I think he found a way to save the human race." Meanwhile, in another back room,
Nice,
dozens
David's
of guns
back.
pointed at him. Fred says that he can assure them that there is no need for weapons. He is no
look at
threat
Dale
to anyone.
Gribble over
Daphne
here.
tells him that he's a threat to the whole damn planet. Fred leans in, stating, "No, I'm not. I am humanity's redeemer." Daphne pulls back, punching Fred with all her strength, and as Fred gets up, he says, "I really hope that made you feel better." Daphne then asks, "How is it any different than before? Packs are always wandering near the mall." And the guard yells, "That's not it. It's like they're gathering with intelligence, a purpose." Daphne spins back,
Maybe
demanding to
Trinidad
know
will come
what is
later.
going on, and Fred tells her, "Nothing. I can only control limited groups of those things, and I have to be close to them to do it." After a few moments pass, a realization comes over Fred. "Oh no. Oh no, he's here! He's here!" Daphne asks who, and outside, the nanites begin to swirl around, creating a being. And after a blinding light fills the area, a tall creature wearing a crown stands up. Fred yells that it's the Nanite King. The king, he's far more powerful than the nanites that resurrected him, and the only way that we can defeat him is if we work together. Daphne asks how. By letting him infect all of them with his nanites, turn them into whatever the hell he is? And Fred yells, if you don't, humankind is doomed. It's our only way. Daphne tells him that what she sees is that they've survived this long on their own, and they sure as hell don't need him and his inhuman masters. She then turns to leave, telling the guards to come with her. They've got a war to fight. Elsewhere in the mall, Velma asks, so there is a cure, and you kept it from us, Quentin? And he says, yes, a failsafe, just in case things went wrong. She yells at him, if you couldn't tell, you altering my programming made this. And Quentin says that he's quite aware of his sins. No need to bring them back up. As for the antidote, it was in the early experimental stages. No one knew if it would even work. But Rufus, well, they all know how he is. He pushed, he bullies, he demanded, and he used it on himself. However, it didn't work. The serum increased his body's ability to heal itself, which is why he didn't die in the fire.
So the text is actually
that's not why Rufus didn't get infected by the plague.
The
it was just luck. Like all of you, something in his biology, some natural immunity that resisted the infection. The cure, though, was destroying him from the start.
Oh, yeah,
he slowly became more erratic and unstable. Just then, everyone hears clang, 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 and Shaggy asks, is that a dinner bell, or are we under attack? Velma says that if that's the dinner bell, then they are the dinner. Outside, the Nanite King calls out to his monsters, telling them to do what their kind does, destroy. And when they're done, they will bring this cleansing to every remaining human enclave on the planet. When they have all been eliminated, these once humans, these insatiable monsters, will be terminated as well. And then, the plant life will remain. The birds in the air, the fish in the sea, the beasts of the land. But man will be no more. Back inside, monsters begin breaking into the settlement, attacking and killing everyone on sight. Velma yells to Daisy to set off the charges, but she stops and asks what about their people that are still up there. Velma shouts that they're already dead. They have to save the rest. Now set them off. Seconds later, explosions begin going off on the top floor, setting everything on fire. Velma then tells everyone that they've reached the armory, but before they can get that far, the group is stomped by a pack of monsters. Shaggy says, we are totally screwed! But just then Daphne runs through, opening fire, shouting, just die, you sons of die! Daisy starts backing up, stating, this is it, we're all gonna... And that's when a monster jumps out to attack her, but before it can grab her, Rufus grabs it by the head, slamming it on the ground, stating, stay away from Daisy! Daisy looks back, asking if it's really him, and Rufus tells her, always protect you. As the swarm starts to get closer, there's a loud hum that fills the air, and the monsters suddenly stop. The nanites begin to get pulled out of their bodies, and they begin to fall. All of the nanites then start to enter Fred's body. Daphne stares for a moment, and he says that he saved them. Fred tells her that she can thank them later, once they get out of this mess. But just then, everyone hears loud tombs as the walls of the mall begin to shake. Shaggy shouts, asking what now? And Daphne says the whole damn mall is starting to crack and crumble. Velma asks what is causing this, and Fred tells her, it's him, the Nanite King. Outside, the Nanite King beats his fist into the ground, sending shockwaves into the mall, shaking it down to its core. And that's when the mall collapses.
The mall collapses.
Down in the sewers, everyone stares blankly, with Daphne clenching her fists, asking how did this happen? The compound was destroyed and dozens were killed, all because of that Nanite King. And when they get out of here, Fred tells her that they can worry about revenge later. Right now, their focus has to be on survival. Daisy asks, how is Cliffy doing? And Shaggy says, he's still in shock. Not sure what to... Wait, what's that ahead? Fred holds his hand up to light the way, and Quentin hugs Velma, stating that he thought she was dead. He's lost enough family to this nanite plague. He can't lose her too. Daphne then asks, does anyone know the way out? And Scrappy says that he's been in and out of this place for months. He can lead them back out. Scooby then says the problem that they face isn't getting out alive, it's what on the other side is waiting for them. Once the group reaches the exit, Daphne pushes the sewer lid to Scout, but before she can get out, she freezes in place. She looks around the mall, and all she can see is destruction. Both human and monster bodies are scattered across the wreckage. Daisy asks, are they the only ones left? And Quentin tells her that it would appear so. Fred looks down at the destroyed Mystery Machine and says that it's strange. She almost feels as if he just lost a friend. Daphne reaches down, placing her hand on his shoulder. After a few moments, she quickly pulls away, realizing that it's still a dead Fred. Stop that! She shouts to him. He asks what is she talking about, and Daphne tells him, stop acting like you're human! As if you're him! Fred says that he fought beside them. He did everything in his power to save them, and she still doesn't believe him? And Daphne yells, no!
Crazy.
And I never will! Scrappy looks around, stating that it looks like the Nanite King took his army and left. So that means we won, right? Quentin says that he can keep on thinking that, but just then the roar of a jet can be heard. Shaggy asks, "What's that?" And as the jet begins to land, Quentin says, "Hope." Velma then asks, "Were you the only one left at the Sacramento compound?" And Quentin straightens his tie, stating, "No, there's a small group stationed there. My coming to Albany was just a prelude to bring you back with me. Unfortunately, that army of monsters interrupted my plans." Everyone begins to board the jet, and as Fred begins to walk around, Scrappy turns back, asking, where the hell does he think he's going? Daphne tells him it's okay. Let him through. And Scrappy then asks, "Are we really doing this?" Daphne says whatever he is, the nanites embedded within him aren't pledging to the king. They need all the knowledge of the enemy. So come on, it's time to go. Elsewhere in the world, the nanite king sits on his throne plotting. He looks over his minions, stating that the humans are just insects. They get stepped on, and somehow they manage to crawl away. They're broken, mourning, terrified of what the future will bring. Let them simmer in their pain and uncertainty for a bit. The king holds out his hand, allowing the nanites to construct a head. And the head then asks if they're going to eradicate them once and for all. And the king says precisely. They will then spread across the globe, exterminating all remaining pockets of humanity. And then only we will remain. He steps down from his throne, and the head asks, what about the beasts that they have bent to their will? The king says, they were efficient weapons against the Albany encampment, but we have many weapons at our disposal. The head then tells him that even though they are plague-induced, they are human after all. And the king begins sucking up the nanites from the monsters in the room,
honestly,
stating,
Pyro, yeah.
which means that they too
It's
must be eradicated. The nanite king's cape then turns into wings, and as he flies off, he tells himself, there's one last thing that I must do before the final slaughter. Over in Complex Beta, Velma looks at all of the computers, stating that it is amazing. It's even more impressive than her lab in Nevada.
This would be
With all of this, she can work on
crazy
perfecting the cure and reversing the plague. Quentin tells her that he's had his scientists working on a cure for years, and time and again, they have failed. Velma then says that it's because she wasn't the one doing it. Shaggy then says, how about they get some rest? It's been days since we slept, but Velma turns back shouting, why don't you all just go away so I can do my damn job? Ooh. Without saying a word, everyone slowly backs off and leaves, and she gives the group one last glance before turning to her computer.
Not right now.
Some time passes, and while she works, she hears the door open. She looks back and says that she's so sorry, Shaggy, she didn't mean to, but a shadow looms over her, telling her that she doesn't need him. She doesn't need any of them. She only needs us, Mother. Before Velma could have a chance to react, the nanite king appears before her, grabbing her by the throat. She begins to struggle, trying to free herself, shouting, I am not your mother! And the nanite king tells her, yes, in fact you are. Were you not the one who birthed us? Gave us life? We were created to bring peace to this world, and when we do, it will be glorious. Velma then asks, if you really think of me as your mother, would you mind putting me down? So, the nanite king sets her down, stating, you must forgive my enthusiasm. I meant you no harm. She then asks, how can you say you mean me no harm with what happened in Albany? People I cared about are dead. The nanite king tells her that they were human and he could not suffer them living. Their species is the sole thing keeping them from a global paradise. Soon, all the remaining humans on the planet will be eradicated, but she has a choice. Join them. There's no reason the mother of nanites should be destroyed. Velma then asks, what does he mean, join them? And the nanite king explains that they will dismantle her, eradicate your immunity to the nanites, and rebuild you as one of us. You will die, yes, but only to be reborn in a higher form. Before she could answer, the lab doors open up as everyone in the compound storms in, and Shaggy shouts, get the hell away from my wife! Daphne calls out to Velma to get down, and as soon as she does, everyone opens fire. The bullets bouncing off of the nanite king's body, and he says that their weaponry simply cannot slay that which truly does not live. We are not composed of your fragile flesh. No blood to spill, no bones to shatter. Just then, there's a loud humming sound as Fred tries to inject his nanites into the king, stating, we know exactly what you are, and because of that, only one of us can take you down. With a wave of his hand, all of the nanites that Fred was attempting to take fall to the ground, and the nanite king says, ah, Fred Jones, the vessel for the nanite fracture that seeks my end. However, there is a massive difference in power here. Your nanites can be effortlessly disabled.
Seems to be.
The nanite king turns back to Velma, telling her, out of respect, we will give you 3 days to decide if you wish to accept our generous offer. You and your unborn child will live on, or you will perish. And just like that, the nanite king begins to fade away into a cloud of nanites until he's all gone. Shaggy runs over to Velma, grabbing her, stating that everything will be okay. We will figure this out. She lets it aside, telling him actually surrendering herself might be their only hope. Just then, Quentin runs in shouting to Velma that she needs to come quickly. It's Rufus, he's dying. Everyone hurries over to the medical wing, with Daisy explaining that the experimental antidote that he took is disrupting his cellular structure and degrading his mind. Velma looks at the now fleshy and gooey body of her brother Rufus and asks Quentin how long. Quentin says he's not sure. Days, hours, there's no way to tell. So then she says that she shouldn't care, should she? Rufus was a monster to her almost her entire life, treated her like something to be scraped off his shoe. And Quentin tells her perhaps, but dude, he is still our brother. And Velma cries. Yes, he is. So 2 days later, Shaggy, Scooby, Scrappy, and Cliffy pig out in the cafeteria, enjoying the finer things of life. But as the four joke and laugh, Scrappy stops, stating, "Actually, I wanted to say that even with everything that's happened, it's been an honor knowing you guys." Shaggy says that before all of this, he used to be kind of a loner. Kind of weird that the end of the world has brought me to my best friends, you know?
This is the end of it right here, by the way.
They aren't just best friends. We are family now, Shaggy. As the four cheer, Daphne, Fred, and Velma walk in. And Daphne says that they all seem pretty jolly considering their situation. Shaggy turns, stating that the three of them have been locked away for the past 2 days. What's going on? So Velma says that it doesn't concern him, but Shaggy shouts, asking, "Could you say that with a little more contempt? If you want to dumb it down for me, just come out and say it." So she sighs, telling him that she's sorry. She's been lashing out and pushing him away. Between the shock of being pregnant and trying to find a way out of this nightmare, she's been rather cruel. So Shaggy hugs her, telling her, "It's okay. I still love you with all my heart." Daphne then yells that they've got some nerve carrying on like that, leaving the rest of them out. So everyone pulls in for a group hug, and Fred watches and quietly walks away. Some time passes as Fred sits alone when Daphne walks up, stating that she's been looking for him. Is he ready? Fred says he's not really, but it is the right thing to do. It'd be so much easier if she just believed him when he says that he is the man that she knew, that he really does love. She stops him, telling him not to say that. As the silence fills the air, Daphne reaches over, placing her hand on Fred's, and smiles, only for the smile to quickly fade. As everyone gets ready for bed, the clock strikes 12, and as the Nanite King promised, he came for his answer. Velma gets out of bed, stating that she made a decision, and that decision is to go with him, but on one condition: allow the humans to live. There aren't many of them left, and they can do nothing to stop him, so what does it? But he interrupts her, stating that it does matter, because humans are a contagion, a poison. They will be eliminated. That's when Fred kicks in the door with Daphne, stating no, he's the one that's going to be eliminated. Daphne and Shaggy start shooting, and the Nanite King asks why do they persist in attempting to harm him. "You have no chance." So Fred grabs onto the back of the Nanite King, telling him, "We persist because of an unyielding will, fueled by an unyielding hope." The Nanite King asks if this is their plan. "To set this
Dave the
Fred
Barbarian,
thing on me?
David.
You know the nanites within him are powerless to... Wait, what are you?" As Fred breaks his body down into just nanites, he says, "I'm returning home."
Yeah, they'd probably
Our
have to, if they made like
faction
an
is rejoining
animated
yours."
movie
the Nanite
of
King
this,
asks,
they'd probably have
"Why
to
would
cut
you?"
out like a
Fred
lot.
tells him, because Velma finally developed a virus capable of infecting and disabling the global nanite swarm. A virus you willingly accepted so that you could pass it on.
SWAT cats would be
Fred's
cool.
nanites swirl around and they attach themselves to the Nanite King, and he yells, "No! This is not possible! This is not!" And that's when a bright blue swirl fades into nothing, leaving only Fred's body behind. She runs over, shouting that he did it. The virus swept through and...
way.
He calls, "I'm glad, but I'm sorry I'm leaving you again." Daphne says maybe Velma can, but Fred stops her. "Velma's not a miracle worker. The nanites were the only thing keeping me alive. And now, they're gone. You believe me now, right? It's really me. And I love you." Before Fred could finish, he draws his last breath, and Daphne cries as she kisses him goodbye. Months pass, and with the destruction of the Nanite King, people affected by the
Fred
Nanite
died
plague slowly
for
start
real,
to turn
for
back
real.
to humans. Many were able to return to normal, but still some were left with permanent damage. Just as they were immune to the plague, there were still some immune to the cure, so there are still monsters roaming the earth. The complex began to create survival cities across the states to help those in need, and everyone seemed happy. Velma, with her son, in honor of her brother and Fred, named their son Frederick Rufus Rogers Dinkley. Daphne became Frederick's godmother, and Scooby-Doo became his godfather. Their mission is now to help locate survivors, and with any luck, help rehabilitate renegade monsters to help rebuild a better world on the ashes of the old. A better world. That was, after all, the goal of Project Elysium. Now let's see if they can get it right this time. I get to do it one last time, guys. We're at the ending, and there's no more Scooby Apocalypse to ever do. This full story is the last Scooby Apocalypse we're ever gonna do. So, Scooby Dooby-Doo, where are you? I had to do it. I have no singing chops on me though, so like I'm not gonna sing it because then it basically Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? It doesn't work. It doesn't sound right. I'm off tone. But anyway, what did you think of the story? Did you like it? Did you get your cookie, popcorn? Because this one's long, so I assumed you had some cookies and popcorn, corn dogs. You know what I like when I'm getting a snack in a movie and I get to make it myself? Pigs in a blanket. Have you ever heard of this? So you get the little wieners, you get the little miniature hot dogs, and then you get the croissant stuff from Pillsbury, and you wrap the little wieners in the croissant, and then you bake it. It's a pig in a blanket. It's the most amazing food ever. Do you like pigs in a blanket? But if you don't, what is your favorite thing to make for a movie back at your house? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you say popcorn, you are unoriginal, sir. I hope you have something
Don't
unique.
say popcorn
I'll see
or
you
else
next
you're
time right here.
unoriginal.
Pigs in a blanket are amazing.
R.I.P. Comic Historian. That was great. I loved that. That was awesome. Guys, can you believe it's time already for reactions? We have 1 minute. Pigs in a blanket are good. Yeah, that was a nice read from him. Yeah, that guy has unfortunately passed away. He passed away this year, actually. He was in a pretty bad car accident. So there's if you guys ever want to check out that channel, there's another guy who took over the channel for that guy. But yeah, that was that guy. I met him once, actually. Great guy. All right, requests are open. It's 11:25. You guys have 5 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll go check. Pyro, you said it was in. I think you said it was in general. Well, hold on, let me check Lunar since I got Lunars right here. Disney category. Make your own schedule, and then Pyro was. Let's see. General chat. Okay, got it. Pickle and Peanut, I've never seen. Big City Greens, Disney Junior on Disney XD. Oh shit. Bluey, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, Miles from Tomorrowland, Spidey and His Amazing Friends, PJ Masks, Puppy Dog Pals, Handy Manny. Oh, that's a show I haven't seen in a long time. The 70 Kirsty Buckets, Kif, Super Robot Monkey Team, Hyperforce Go, Gravity Falls, Amphibia, Yin Yang Yo, Randy Cunningham, Beyblade X, Star vs. Force Field, Futurama. Futurama is interesting. Hulk and the Agents of Smash, Mean Girls. Okay, King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, Rex the Run, Futurama. This is decent schedule. All right, so you said general. Yeah, here it is.
Hey guys, it's Joe's Julian.
Oh, it's a
this
2
week
hour.
is
It's a 2 hour, but I see Marty. That's all I can recognize. Marty, Paul Schofler, David Stephen Cohen, Pillar Newton, Lindy Saminsky, and Jody Gray and Andy Aaron. Super sick, super cool. I need to watch this. It's the What's in My Head podcast too, so it's always a good one. Always a classic stuff from this guy. Alright, so now let's see what's been cooking up in... Oh, I need to see... Someone told me to check Twitter earlier. We have 3 minutes. You said, why is it hard for me to hear? Nice. Oh, okay. All right. You're going to see what happens if it... Oh, is it hard to hear me? Is it hard to hear me for everybody else? I hope not. Super cool. Super cool. Alright, So this is the first one for today.
Listen to me, cats, and I don't mean maybe, cause it ain't easy to be a baby.
Cause it ain't easy to be a baby.
D. Sneak into the fridge, word.
Sneak into the... Oh, I love popcorn chicken. Oh, by the way, that feels so good to get off of my head. Thank you, Sakam Bomber.
Chills and regurgitates cookies.
Oh, I feel so much better with those headphones off. Oh, much better.
Make like a piggy.
You can hear me? Okay, thank you.
Weekdays at 8.
Scrunches. Oh no. Scrunches. He went in for that scrunch. Oh, that looks fucking nasty. That looked gross. That looked disgusting as absolute get out. I think I need to get a new microphone. I think my microphone is kind of calling it quits.
Denim, haircut, backpacks, backpacks, come get your backpack.
Boots and pants and boots and pants.
New shoes, get yourself an outfit. Denim,
boots and pants and boots and pants.
Haircut, new shoes, so get yourself off to school with these tips. Haircut.
This lady with the haircut at the end. Oh my god. Oh, here we go. The haircut lady stayed all night perfecting that one damn line. She played it like she was gonna, like this was gonna be her big break to Hollywood. And the event she does make it to Hollywood, she's gonna use this commercial on her resume. Is crazy. All right, let's lock up the requests.
We're here with our coverage on the arrival.
Welcome, Great Pumpkin.
Any moment, the Great Pumpkin will rise up out of the pumpkin patch and spread gifts and joy to the children. Oh, the heck with it. Let's all just sing the
Thank you,
Tipperary
Lunar.
song.
I was wondering what that was.
It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweet... Hey, Linus, any sign of the Great Pumpkin? Linus? It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Friday at 5...
It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. New Burger King Rango.
Are we going?
Where you going?
In the West, a land without end. A BK kids meal, a lizard's best friend. No juice in the desert, the sun in their eyes.
I know, right? Good old Charlie Brown. Thank you, David.
Or a burger.
Flame broiled.
I like the pickles.
Now, your BK Kids meal can come with BK Fresh Apple Fries and a toy inspired by the new movie Rango. 6 in all at Burger
Apple
King.
fries. Sounds pretty good. Little Caesars commercial from 2019.
They say you don't know what you have until it's
Oh, wait a minute. Who sent this? Who sent this? It was Kalia, wasn't it? Yeah. I knew Kalia. With the pretzel crust. I know Kalia loves the pretzel crust.
But now it's back after 4 long years.
That looks good. Oh, that looks so good.
Let's be very clear. You have Little Caesars soft pretzel crust pizza. Now you know. Get a Little Caesars salted soft pretzel crust pizza with creamy cheddar cheese sauce, mozzarella, pepperoni.
That looks
and
really
cheese
good,
bread
yeah.
For just $6. Try our convenient app and Pizza Portal pickup.
You can send it, Plush. You can send it. Send it on Twitch though, if you don't mind. Because we didn't get a lot of requests this go around, so.
I want some crusher. Let's some crusher. Milk keeps me fit.
I like his Newsies cap.
I want some crusher. A glass of crusher. It's tough enough to make milk shake. Add milk.
All of that for milk. Oh, there's another AVGN episode? What? Yo, if we finish requests early, we're watching that AVGN episode. I did not know that, David. That's cool. They got a pepper bar.
Santa Fe trio subs with smoky chipotle sauce. Chicken, roast beef, or smoked turkey. Quiznos.
Nose for Ratu. Or maybe I'll just watch it after the stream.
Nick Jr. is a place in the world
Nick Jr.
just for preschoolers. Every weekday from 9
Very
to
nice,
2
Kalia.
on Nickelodeon. At Nick Jr., we know that growing up today is a
All right, sounds good, Plush.
it used to be. That's why we see things from a little kid's point of view. And
See,
encourage
Rango, I want to say I've seen like once, and I don't remember like anything about
the
it.
uniqueness in everyone. At Nick Jr., we play to learn. Because you're only a kid once, but you're a person forever.
Oh, this is a good one, Pyro. I'm gonna wait on it though, because it's 3 minutes. I'll do it towards the end. Oh, as well as this one. This is a 4-minuter.
Believe in your friends. Just be you and me hanging out. Believe in having fun.
I know, right? Unfortunately, only a kid once, and you're never prepared for it. You're just waiting to be an adult, and then you become an adult, and then you're like, why did I want this? I want a refund. Give me my money back. I want to be a kid again.
Every day on Disney Channel.
I do come first, don't I?
Oh, for sure, Pyro. Yeah, the childlike spirit, for sure.
Get spooked with Cartoon Network's first Halloween DVD.
That's what I call Halloween spirit.
Yes, that's right, all you goblins and ghouls. For the first time ever on DVD, Ed, Ed and Eddie, Billy and Mandy.
Billy and Mandy.
Come face to face with
Courage.
So scary. There's only one
Courage.
So get ready to scream. Cartoon Network's first ever Halloween DVD in stores this Halloween.
I see it, Plush. I see it. This one's gonna be, yes, 7 minutes. I might not be able to get to this one today either, Plush. Or not Plush, I'm sorry. Same Base Unicorn.
Have you got what it takes to be a Pokemon champion?
I'm gonna win this time.
Now you've got 3 chances to take up the Pokemon Challenge.
We'll see, we'll try.
Wednesdays and Fridays on CITV. It's a catch-em-all kind of thing.
We might be able to. We'll see. Here's another. This is going to be another long 1 minute and a half. We'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of long ones.
Open your eyes, little sleepy heads.
It's time to get up out your lazy bed.
Cause the Tony starts, and you know what that means.
Why?
You gotta win prizes beyond your wildest dreams. Listen to our songs, cause they hold the clues.
Then call the hotline wearing your lucky shoes.
I got new socks.
And I got a new perm.
So join us for Scooby.
All half term.
All half term, he says. Another 3 minute one. Okay, so it's a minute and a half.
These hands were once used for battle. Now they're but humble tools for peace.
I actually thought the beginning of this movie was really, really good, and then the end of it was not great. I actually really love this song. Actually, I don't think it's gonna copyright the stream. I'll probably have troubles with this afterwards, but I'll take care of that.
My superheroing days are over.
Remember what I told you? You ever feel lost? Just look into the eyes of the people that you love. Not me.
Just listening.
I definitely thought Thor Ragnarok was the best one. I did not like this one that much, but it was okay for what it was, I guess. Ooh, Halloween Hamtaro.
Me wants your big kid's meal. Not so fast, Harry.
I know, it's okay, Xavier.
Cheeseburger yet.
Hamtaro is screaming.
Marvel Thor's the real beginning, yep.
Now in every big kid's meal, there's a Hamtaro toy. You can put
I remember getting toys from this. I remember I went to Burger King during this. I got that toy, and I think a couple of the other ones. Thank you for showing me that, because yes, I do remember a lot of that. We'll do this one because it's 2 minutes.
Kids,
It's another Love and Thunder
popcorn
trailer.
now. Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no ordinary man. He was a god.
Save that one for another time, David. We have, remember,
Thor set off on a
if I
mission.
watch that clip you just sent, that means that the other people's videos we have to watch, we won't be able to get to if I watch yours now. Because remember, they followed the rules and put theirs in when we needed to. So I'm just letting you know, I'll watch that if you want me to, but all that means is someone else in the chat is not going to get their video to be seen.
The old ex-girlfriend.
Oh, Thor Love and Thunder is your favorite film. Okay, I see.
What's it been like? 3, 4
Oh, I
years?
know. The Thanksgiving dinners,
7
yeah.
months and 6 days, give or take.
Am I, sensing feelings?
Well, you're right.
The only ones who gods care about is themselves.
Christian Bale.
All gods will die.
All gods will die. Nice,
I was
Blush.
gonna say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
Yeah, those were awesome toys.
It's just my first bad guy.
You never forget your first.
Very cool, Xavier.
You are not like the other gods of kill.
Because I have something worth fighting for.
Let's see who you are. And take off your disguise. And flick.
Oh, you flipped too hard, damn it!
Shall we help him? And eventually, grape.
Oh, excuse me. I know, Little Miri was so annoying. Here, I'm just gonna go right over here and blow my nose. I'm still watching. You guys just won't be able to see me.
The day has arrived. Happy Blorthog! Huh?
Come on, Beast Boy, give me that thing.
Dude, I'm in the middle of a game, Cyborg.
Yeah, my game, 'cause it's my turn.
Give me the controller. No, let go. It is my turn.
Friends, we must frolic and leap in glorious celebration, for today is Blorthog.
Oh, is this a whole clip?
Festival of friendship.
Now this, I am a little, not afraid, but I am a little wary. I feel like this could end the stream. We'll see.
Joyous greeting, friend. I, Starfire, give you this tenabula as a symbol of...
You gonna pay for that, you little grass stain?
Many blessings, friend. May your ears be filled with sugar candies and...
Look, I'll give you back the controller as soon as Raven gives back my nail clippers. Ah!
Not gonna happen. How else am I supposed to keep your toenails off the coffee table?
Happiness and delight.
Yeah, I might.
On this wondrous day...
Well, hold on. We're 2 minutes in,
Sunshine and Bunny.
and I haven't gotten anything yet. Let's see.
Robin, could the music be a little louder? I can still hear myself think.
I only turned the music up to drown out all the yelling.
Whose turn is it now, tough guy? Whose turn is it now?
Knock it off!
There was so much anime influence in Teen Titans, dude.
More yelling will definitely stop all the yelling.
Friends, please! You must not... If we could simply... Happy Blur! Oh!
Wait a minute. I know what episode this is.
Friends must never behave this way. And especially not on Blorthog. Do you wish to invite the Rekmas?
The Zoon Titan?
Oh, this is just advertising season 2. I think this episode is the one where she enters like that post-apocalyptic future. Yeah, that is what episode this is.
Oh, come on, Starfire.
Okay, I definitely won't share the opening. So there's like 30 seconds left.
Typical roommate stuff.
I think we're okay.
We're not going to drift apart, Star. I promise.
Kath
We'll all be
Susi.
friends forever.
Thank you. Nosferatu.
Titans, trouble.
All right.
Silverman was at I think it was CBS, yes, at the time. And he came in one time. He said, "Gee, why don't we do a mystery show?" So, oh yeah. And he said he wanted to call it the Mystery Hour or something unoriginal like that. Then he had a thing called I am scared, which you wrote
Agreed,
that
Pyro.
way.
We gotta watch it on stream, which we will.
I'm going to say it that way, you know. So Paley and New York threw him out. And after that, we finally just left it as, I forget.
Good guess, Plush.
So I did artwork on it. I took it back to New York. And again, Paley threw him out because he said it was too scary. So now, the idea came up, let's add the dog. But first of all, dogs are great. And Hanna-Barbera has at least 100 dogs they've developed over the years that they use. From Muttley, you know, with a Snicker and Scooby-Doo. So anyway, we threw Scooby in there, and we had some personality touches which were great. In other words, he would eat anything, anywhere, anytime. Shaggy will eat anything, anywhere, anytime.
Probably Cramp Twins as well, I think, David, as well, yeah.
As far as eating,
I haven't seen it,
they
Xavier.
would eat wax fruit off the table, these two guys, you know. So that became a funny gimmick that the kids must have liked and bought. Otherwise,
Okay, thank you, Killer Cyber Slayer.
then we had the brainy girl and the attractive but intelligent gal. And then we had the boyfriend who is not the brightest, you know. But in the meantime, if we ever get going on it again, I have 3 stories waiting to go. Putting them all on a different avenue, a different kind of entertainment, scarier. And it's going to be great if we ever get to it. I don't know. But Scooby-Doo turned out to be the sleeper of all time, you know. I mean, that's a half-hour show. That's not a short. Every one of them is a half hour. Every one of them, I'll give you an example of what I'm thinking about for Scooby if I ever can get to it. I want to do
Agreed, Pyro.
Scooby Woodstock. Scooby-Doo goes to Woodstock. And he and his gang are going up in this little van. And they're a group now. They have instruments. And they arrive at Woodstock and there's nobody there. Just this dark, empty field.
Me neither, Xavier. It's going to be great.
Sorry, I forgot. The zombie Woodstock. They go to the Woodstock not knowing it's a zombie Woodstock. And these zombies show up. Oh, they're doing this, you know. The whole bunch of them. One arm falls off or whatever is necessary. And then they won't let them go. They want them to keep playing, and they got to out-trick them somehow or other. So it's a perfect vehicle for them, especially with Scooby jumping in his arms every 2 minutes. So that's part of the thinking that I'm doing.
I love these little interview pieces because you don't really get to see them much, first of all, and second of all, even after you see them, or even if you see them, they're usually thrown on like a DVD somewhere or something like that. But it's so great to see those.
Yes.
Yes.
One more. Oh, yeah. Parking duty. Dismissed. Abandoning your post, inciting a scurry, reckless endangerment of rodents, but to be fair, you did stop a master criminal from stealing 24 moldy onions. I will give you 48 hours. That's 2 days to find Emmett Totterton. But you strike out, you resign. Splendid. Clawhauser will give you the complete case file.
You're losers, caveman. Always have been.
Hey,
Always
it's
will.
Tom Hiddleston.
Do you really believe you can beat us tomorrow? Face it, caveman. You and your tribe, you just don't have it in you. But I am willing to offer you a deal. A way out. That's good. I don't know what the queen is worrying about. I mean, we all know what losers cavemen are. Those Stone Age dolts couldn't beat their own grandmothers. Brainless goons, gormless half-wits. Oh! Ah! Stefano! Not so am-fisted. In fact, enough massage.
That's funny. Yeah, I've already watched every video sent into the Twitch chat except for Sakam Bomber's Here's the Sonic meme. If only because that's another one that we don't have time for. Everyone else in the Twitch chat we've already watched except for your last one.
Yeah, it's actually a bit confusing. I just said that. You went into his garden? Everything's upside down.
I'm Guy. This is Belt, cook, conversationalist, navigator. He also keeps my pants up.
High fire. So from now on, we'll stay out here, where we can follow the light.
No time to explain. Attack! Want me to take the next watch? I'll keep an eye out for it.
No, I need to do this. That little voice inside me would never leave me alone if I gave up.
What do you think it is? The voice inside. There's a secret mission in uncharted space.
I'm Groot.
Uh-huh.
I'm Groot.
That's right.
I'm Groot.
No!
Lightyear.
Hey, up here, Astro Boy.
If you think you could just show up and take our top prize spot, you're wrong.
You're dead wrong.
You don't understand. I'm trying to...
Cheat the system and get with a kid? Yeah, we know.
No, I need a child to shower you with unconditional love. Join the club, pal.
Yeah, join the club.
Come on.
I'll help you with my foot. I can't. I'm gonna try to get you with the foot. Bunny, what are you doing? I can't reach you, man. Help me out here. Come on.
Oh, sorry, Ducky. I'm not a minor here, you know.
Good night, Jody.
You gonna make me say it? Huh? Yeah, how you like that, cheater, huh? Yep, Pascal! Huh? To infinity and my foot? Yeah. What's that? Boom! Got you in the face.
I don't think Olaf...
I love those characters from Toy Story 4, actually.
2 sisters, 1 mind. Okay, here we go.
I don't know. That's a good question, Xavier.
Anytime, just do something with your body. Nothing. Air. Tree. People. Treeple. Is that a word? That's not... Oh, shovel boy. Teeth? Oh, pillow fort. Did we hurt your feelings? I'm so sorry if we did. You know, very few people are actually good at family games. That's just a fact. We made a promise not to shut each other out. Just tell me what's going on. You're not going alone. Excuse me, I climbed the North Mountains, survived a frozen heart, and saved you from my ex-boyfriend, and I did it all without powers, so, you know, I'm coming.
We've gone along just
They're all
fine
so
without
good. They're all
brains
really
until
good.
now. Cavemen don't need brains because we have these. Scared? I'll show you scared. Hand me those acting sticks. Breakfast formation. I want to see some real caveman action out there. We do this fast, we do this loud, we do this as a family. A long time ago, this little bear was alive. She was alive because she listened to her father. Thunk! Try hiding from it in the tall, dry grass. Just think, our whole family packed together on a long, slow trip across country.
Oh, hey, big fella. What I do? Oh, I just rescued a tiger. Yeah, I'm not even trying to brag about that. I'm just telling you what happened. See, that's the thing about being awesome. When you're awesome, all you have to do is tell the truth, and it just sounds like you're bragging. What you look like I'm doing? I'm doing superhero stuff. Let me tell you something.
I never saw this one. This one I did not watch.
They're gonna meet my partners, and I'm talking about Paul and Order. First of all, I want to.
I watched. I think I watched the first one.
Who was put in there with a red blanket, and henceforth will be known as.
We probably don't have time, Catton. This is probably gonna go right up to the very end.
She's a figurine. Used to be on that lamp in the window. Name's Bo Peep.
Oh, Peep. Oh, yes, I know Bo.
You do?
Hop on in. We'll take you to her.
No, you don't. You don't have to do that.
Benson grabbed you.
Well, okay. No. He went off to college, but he gave us Bonnie. Yeah. It's why I'm out here. Her other toy is trapped in this antique store, and I have to.
Second Chance Antiques. We know that store.
That's great. That is great. If you know the store, you could really help me find him. But you see, Bonnie needs him just like Molly needed you.
Did he just wink? I didn't even know we could do that. I just looked for the buttons, but then one time, it was your nipple. Oh, good. Okay.
Is that Keira Knightley?
Should we break both ankles or just one?
I think that is Keira Knightley. I haven't seen her in anything in forever.
And please, call me Valka. It has been a year. Astrid does have a point.
Kate Blanchett.
Perhaps you all rely a little bit too much on your dragons and not enough.
Definitely next time for sure, Catton.
Nonsense.
Yeah, Jeremy
Could he
Renner's
do?
voice is good, yeah.
No injuries. They're all a little shaken, but otherwise they're healthy. There's nothing more stubborn than a mob of tired, hungry Vikings. I fear it can't last Hiccup. He thinks he has to lead alone because his father had to. He doesn't realize the strength that you
Sounds
have
good,
together.
Scam Bomber.
Do you still believe in him? Then help him realize the truth.
Excuse me, Rabbit, Cat. Do any of you all know Captain Snowball?
My goodness, what's up with this? With these?
Really gotta talk to him.
With these pop-ups here.
Needs saving. Okay, you don't listen. It's Daisy. I need Captain Snowball for it.
Well, that is the stream, everybody. My goodness, what a stream today, you guys. We did a great job. We were streaming for over 3 hours. Great job, everybody. We did it. We made it. We're going to be back. I'm a skier. We're going to be back on Thursday. I might have a limited stream schedule this week. I might not. But we should be back on Thursday. That's the plan. I'll keep everybody updated and let everybody know. But anyways, guys, going to play the stream outro here. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the stream, and I will see everybody in the next one. See you guys.
Hello, Zinga.
Yes, Tommy.
Would you like to give us the word of the day?
Oh, I would. The word of the day is ghost.
Could you use it in a sentence?
Ghosts, or ghosts, as they're commonly referred to, are often prone to dancing and singing.
Ghost? G-A-G-A-G-A-G-A-G-H-O-S-T-S? Ghost?
We'll be right back with more of tonight's brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, right here on Fridays.
Now back to more of a brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends right here on Friday.
And I'm Tommy. It's Friday, October 8th, and tonight we're going to do what, kids? Oh! Oh! Do that again. Try to scare me. Oh! Yeah. That was a good one.
Oh boy, a brand new episode of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
I know, it's exciting.
No, it's Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Okay.
Now back to more of a brand new
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, right here on Fridays.
What's the word of the day, Tommy?
The word of the day is...
Could you use it in a sentence? Arg! A. R, 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 R. G, 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 G. H, H, H. Arg!
That is correct.
We'll be right back with more of tonight's brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, right here on Fridays.
Hey, brand new Fosters, everybody.
And don't forget you can catch that episode again at 10:30.
And another new episode next Friday at 7 and 10:30.
A brand new Billy and Mandy is next. Were they just... Oh, Zinga?
Yes, Tommy.
Would you like to give us the word of the day?
I would indeed. The word of the day is...
We take you now to tonight's brand new Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
And now here's more of tonight's brand new Billy and Mandy, right here on Fridays. Very awkward. Billy and Mandy.
It was new, and you can catch another new episode next Friday at 7:30.
Yep. Stay tuned for a special Billy and Mandy Halloween presentation.
I am a mummy made out of toilet paper.
All part of Halloween month here on Fridays.
Scary.
I know.
We'll be right back to the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy on Cartoon Network's Fridays.
We're about to return to more Billy and Mandy Halloween goodness. But first...
Wow, that was nutty.
It sure was. Here's some more of that scary Billy and Mandy Halloween. Hey, that was just half of tonight's special Billy and Mandy Halloween presentation.
Stay tuned for more, and why don't you tell them what's coming on next week at 8, Zinga?
Well, it's a special Ham Halloween. I hope all of Hamtaro's Halloweeny wishes come true.
You know, me too. Stay tuned for more Billy and Mandy Halloween.
Exciting.
More of tonight's Billy and Mandy Halloween goodness is on right after this.
Break!
That was very, very good.
Now here's tonight's Atomic Betty.
Yay! Girls! Pow!
Yeah! That! We'll be right back to more of this week's new Atomic Betty right here on Fridays. More Atomic Betty. Bravo! More!
Did you know that you can catch a new Atomic Betty every Sunday night at 8:30?
Get out! That's crazy talk.
I know! It's there on Sunday nights with brand new episodes of Totally Spies at 8.
You did not just say that.
Oh, girl power rocks, Tommy!
You go, girl!
Hoo-ha!
You're too darn much.
Hey, Howie!
Hey, everybody, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Zinga. It's Friday, October 15th, and tonight we're gonna do what, kids?
New Fosters?
It's brand new.
Ooh, I'll be ready for it then.
Ready like now?
I think you guys need to be a little less jumpy.
Yeah.
And then don't sneak up on us, huh?
Wow, very sensitive.
Oh, Zinga?
Yes, Tommy?
Would you like to give us the word of the day, please?
I would indeed. The word of the day is, I'm scared.
Could you use it in a sentence? I'm a skirt. I-M-A-S-C-E-E-R-T. I'm a skirt.
That is correct.
We'll be right back with more of tonight's brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Now back to more of a brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends right here on Fridays.
Hey, brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, everybody.
And don't forget, you can catch that episode again at 10:30.
More Fosters at 10:30.
Yeah, I'd see it again. That was great.
Yes, it was, and there's another brand new Foster's at 7 and 10:30 next Friday.
Well, I'll make sure to tell the family.
All 16,784 of them?
Yeah, Foster's very big with the roach population. We all have imaginary friends.
Yeah, well, you'll need them.
Was that a jab at my personality?
No.
A new Billy Mandy's up next. What's the word of the day, Tommy?
The word of the day is I'm a skirt.
We take you now to tonight's brand new Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
It's the Powerpuff Girls Style Heroes winners! Congratulations, girls! You guys rock!
Thanks, Inga. Now it's time for Ham Taro's Ham Halloween special. Powerpuff Girls Style Heroes assemble! Powerpuff Girls Style Heroes, yeah! Woo!
We'll be right back with more of tonight's Ham Taro Ham Halloween special right here on Fridays.
We're about to return to more of tonight's Ham Taro Ham Halloween special, but first...
All right, so what we're going to talk about now are the different types of candy, categories of candy that you may receive on this special night, okay? So, the best is anything that contains chocolate. And if that happens, that means repeat customer. If you can at all, go back to that house again and again. Number 2 would be good hard candy. Now, the third one here is a bad hard candy. Stuff doesn't taste very good. Code word for bad hard candy is toga. And that means trade or give away. Can you guys all say that? Trade or give away. And then the last one here, that candy that's wrapped in that orange paper or black paper, and it tastes really, really, really foul in your mouth. Well, the code word for that is DASAP, and that means discard as soon as possible.
I'm scared.
You girls enjoying the Ham Halloween so far?
Powerpuff Girls Style Heroes approved.
You know, that's great how you all say everything together.
Don't get the Powerpuff Girls Style Heroes started, Tinga.
Well, I won't.
Uncanny.
That was Ham Taro's Ham Halloween special.
Yeah, you girls have been great. Thanks for stopping by.
Strike a pose before you leave.
Do pose number 2.
Very cool.
Okay, do pose number 47 and tell us what's coming up next.
Billy and Mandy's up next.
Okay, now that's why.
Another episode of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy is on right after this.
Peekaboo!
Now here's the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy with Grim or Gregory. Time now for the latest episode of our brand new cartoon Atomic Betty. But first...
We're rolling!
It's Atomic Betty. She's keen.
Oh, she is keen, Tommy. Peachy keen.
Who's your friend down there?
Sal.
Sally Alligator?
Yeah,
Is her full name Salligator?
I think. I'm scared.
Ooh, well, I won't miss it. I'll be ready for it, too.
Ready like now?
Oh, jeez.
Well, you guys need to be a little less jumpy. Where am I standing up? Sorry, that was me.
And now here's the new Atomic Betty. I'm gonna take this cartoon and spread it on some toast and eat it like it's a meal, because it will taste good. And that's why I don't dress up like Superboy anymore.
Now here's tonight's brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
So Dinah really decorated up the diner for the holiday season, didn't she? The Halloween holidays, mind you.
She's very festive, that Dinah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Did you check out that outfit she had on today?
Oh, gorgeous. You know, the scariest thing in the whole place?
What's that?
That painting of that baby back there.
What is that baby looking at?
What's that baby looking at?
Hey, let's use our restaurant voice.
We'll be right back with more of a brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends right after this.
And by this, we mean one or more of those commercial things.
And after that, there'll be more Fosters. You'll love it.
Go get a cookie or something. We'll wait.
Yeah. And while you're in the kitchen, grab me some cake.
That cake.
A brand new Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
So I think we have time to look in one store. One! To find a gift for Madam Foster. So where would you like to go?
Oh, that one!
Look at me! I'm Beauregard!
No, you're not.
I'm not?
Papa's Girls is up next.
Hey, everybody, I'm Miss Fallon.
No, you're not, Tommy.
Queridos niños, Cartoon Network tiene el placer de invitaros a su fiesta de Halloween. Deberás tener valor para atravesar el bosque de las bestias. Continuarás por el cementerio de los muertos de risa y nos vale que te atrapen. Desciende a los sótanos de la mansión, donde retumban las macabras carcajadas de los muertos. Esquiva las trampas del pasadizo secreto que te conducirá a la torre. Y una vez allí, contempla con horror los experimentos más escalofriantes y asiste al estreno de la película Super Puño de los perversos creadores de Billy y Mandy. Especial Halloween, el viernes 31 de octubre en Cartoon Network.